It's a Monday night on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We are in the middle of March. We're heading towards the business end of the opening term of 2024. And where else to kick things off than a circuit that more often than not will separate the men from the boys. For an all-in Super 2, Super 3 showdown with thanks to Player One Sim Gear, then on to MotorLand Aragón. First up, GT3 Am Racing, and then GT3 Pro on what is their final night of sprint racing for this opening term. It is night one of week 8 in term 1, season 16, on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, and it is terrific to have you along for the ride. Good evening, everybody. Zach Cabin alongside Adam Lavis here, and welcome to the 8th installment of Monday Night Motorsport for the 2024 calendar year. Only a couple to go after this, and then we get a nice little break to take stock, regroup, and get ready to rock and roll again. And excitement building here because we've got some potential wet weather races on the horizon in the next couple of weeks at long last, but not tonight with the supercars around Long Beach. There are the track and circuit conditions for you at 3 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific time. And, of course, we've just entered the daylight saving window, that progressive and civilised concept that Queensland has no idea about in the United States. So no danger of entering anywhere near twilight sunset conditions here for this 25-minute sprint. 20 degrees the ambient, 28 or 26 on track. I can't quite make that out at the moment as we get ready to have a look at the championship points and the 28. Thank you, Adam Lavis, the championship points and the grid here for you. That's is now the championship points. It's Greg Favell on top by 50 points to Damien Cairns. He's got a good gap back to Stephen Varga, who's got Tim Nicol lurking, and so too Sean Hart looming large. Alan Geel in 6th place on 195. Will Buchanan 190. Jaden Greenleaf, McClellan, and Michael Fraser take us back to 10th place. And then, of course, we have a look at the Super 3 standings for you. And we can tell you that Aaron Bryan is on top there from James Boardman. 41 points the deficit at the moment. Back to Dale Jeffries, a further 28 points, and then it's similar to what we saw in Super 2 with 4th, 5th, and 6th in close tow there, of course. 4th being Troy Davidson, 5th being Greg Spencer. He's got Reece Dickinson and Pete Matson for good company, so too Aiden Schultz and Dimitri Kolbach. Grid for tonight, Greg Favell, Damien Cairns front row, Sean Hart and Lorne McKee second row, Joe Mahoney and Tim Nicol third row, Stephen Varga, Jared Knight. There's 90 in the field in the 4th row. And then we go back to the 5th row being Alan Geel, Aaron Bryan, 6th row Michael Hammond, Brendan Griffiths, 7th row Adam Proctor and Sean van der Meulen. Set to fire from Long Beach. Greg Favell, after a couple of weeks of getting a good start, has butchered it, and he's not the only one. We saw a car stalled on the grid that got cleaned up on the way through. And more trouble as we head towards turn 1. They're going everywhere. I think Michael Hammond might be around and in the wall as well. Oh dear, it's a parking lot at turn 1 and the safety car will be deployed. Have a look at that. Wow. Good evening, everybody. Nice to have you along for the ride. Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And we are under caution immediately on the streets of Long Beach. Hello to Chris Stark from the Goulburn River tonight, tuning in to watch the broadcast. We'll go back and pick all that apart for you shortly. I called that wrong. It wasn't Michael Hammond. I only got a very small glimpse of who was pirouetting backwards into the wall. I saw red, white, and blue, his traditional colours. It wasn't him. We'll have a look at some replays for you in just a tick. In the meantime, my eyes were on Greg Favell, lighting it up and going nowhere. A couple of weeks of nailing the start and not giving himself an invoice and not making a rod for his own back in terms of chasing his tail and trying to get back to where he started. That didn't happen tonight for him. It all went you-know-what up. And from there, attention was about 6 rows further back with Joe Mahoney, who stalled at 1, 2, 3, got by him, including Hammond 4, 5. Bang! He was collected by the 6th. And that was one of the Aussie Racer stable entries. And it might have been Nick Fodiatis. But it kicked Mahoney into gear. It got him going. Watch Nick. And watch this. Phil Butler makes a good point. Looks like a good night to be missing this. Oh, dear. Yep. Not only did Nick collect him, elevate him enough that he could ride under him, on the way back through, Nick's car's all of a sudden gone jumping, Tony Hawk style. And then what happened down at turn 1, Aaron Bryan was caught up. There were a few cars caught up in this. Hammond did go deep, but he wasn't the one backwards. Aaron Bryan got caught up. This is what happened to Hammond. 1, 2, 3. He did actually get a clip. He did get sent round. But in all of that, he actually gained 2 spots. He actually gained 2 spots. That's what threw me off. I was like, hang on, did Hammond get caught up in that or not? Because he's actually gained +2, whereas everybody else down the order. Nick Fodiatis down 12, Michael Fraser down 10, Sean Van der Meulen down 13, and Wayne Visser down 10. Unfortunate for Nick, unfortunate for everybody else that the track was jammed and this became a parking lot very, very quickly. Cold brakes, cold tyres, a few different unfortunate factors there. Wayne Visser didn't even make it to turn 1. A horror start to his presence in Super 2 and Super 3. Field under the control of the safety car. 2 laps gone. Unfortunately, we are eating into race time here. But Adam Lavis, as I say, good evening to you and welcome. A justifiable deployment of the safety car here at the streets of Long Beach.
Yeah, there was like 4 different accidents before turn 1, so yeah. It wasn't really much choice for RC to have there. It was very much a slam dunk call. Walked into turn 1.
And good luck to Race Control picking the tape apart on that one. My goodness. Michael Hammond, Brendan Griffiths, Stephen Varga in pit lane. Jared Knight as well, Peter Foster, Wayne Visser, Michael Fraser, Nick Fodiatis, they're all in. And there are a lot of cars pitting right now. Now, what's interesting here is the leaders have opted not to stop. So there's 2 schools of thought here. Because the lap behind the safety car is about 50% of usual green flag running pace, 225.408 for Damien Cairns, Lorne McKee last time round, Tim Nicol, Sean Hart, Greg Favell, the top 5.
This is going to be interesting. So we got
6 Holdens and 4 Fords in the top 10. And what's catching my eye here is there'll be those at the front wondering, can we make it with a bit of fuel saving now that we've had a couple of laps under the safety car? And there'll be those guys that have just stopped thinking this might serve us well in the long run if everybody else has to stop.
I'm surprised Van der Meulen hadn't stopped yet. His car was all broken up, so he should have stopped. And also, interesting thing back there, this could get a bit hairy for some of the guys at the back of the field there, because the guys who were pitting from the front were merging with the guys at the back. So there could be some confusion with what iRacing is telling them, what position to be in and all that sort of stuff, because they have to follow their iRacing instructions to go in the right spot on the track. So Mikey's given up track position here to have his pit stop done. So it'll be interesting to see if the other guys can make it or whether they still have to stop. Because we are going green this time. No, actually, safety car. Safety cars. The lights were off. I think they're just going to go back on again.
The lights are still on. So another lap behind the safety car here. It'll be interesting. The lights are back on. You're right. Everybody at home can tell. Even Stevie Wonder can tell that the lights are still on the safety car there. 6 minutes gone. A long train here. A huge train.
So
Chris Dark just highlighting an interesting point that you highlighted to me before we got going. Tough initiation to supercars for Wayne Visser.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like I went to try and I went to me sheet to put Visser in his class, and he's never raced supercars since we started doing the split stuff. Yeah. So I was very surprised because Visser's been around the club since day dot. So. But like the guys who have done well there to avoid the incidents, Dave Christensen up 11, Cole Batch up 10, we got a few other ones up
6, Wiles up 6, Stride, Baldwin, Mason, McNamara all up 9, Bradbury up 8. So some huge beneficiaries in this.
And Favell wasn't an incident, but he's lost 4 spots on the start.
Yep, and that's so costly around here, because right now, I mean, the green flag's not going to fly until about the 9-minute mark. That's going to leave him 16 minutes. Or what do I reckon it's going to be? 12 laps.
Oh, he just had no reaction time, and then Will Spin didn't panic. So he's fallen asleep and then reacted, then overreacted and dropped the clutch. And he's probably got lucky that the guy's crashing here has given him spots back, because he's back at like 12 here.
Yep. 12 laps. Oh, here we go. Greg Brooks. He's not in the race. That's a very good point. Greg Brooks highlighting the comment made by Mr. Stewart, our resident banter expert, on a Monday night. Brooksy's pedals died, apparently, according to Starkey. Oh, there's a carve-up going on in the comments section tonight. Have a look at it, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. So this is going to leave us with 16 minutes, 12 laps, I reckon, of racing here, because lap times in qualifying... Actually, do we have the results from qualifying? Can we have a look at them whilst we're under safety car here, just to give everybody an indication of that green flag running speed right now? 1:18.79. So, yeah, almost bang on. That 12-lap marker is where we're going to be, especially if there's a splash and dash requirement here, and especially if they don't get back to the line until just after that 9-minute threshold, because the last time around behind the safety car was 2:38.588.
So lights are out.
There's a few different things to keep an eye on here, Adam.
Now, they have been obviously using some fuel on the safety car, so it's not a clean 15 minutes of racing here. But given that the pit stops are normally between 15 and 20 minutes, it could be hit and miss whether these guys can stretch it. So there's probably going to be some fuel saving here. There's going to be some clutching going on. The guys are on the ball anyway.
Yep. Here we go. Get ready to rock and roll once more. Streets of Long Beach. Barney's got the green flag in hand. The clock goes past the 9-minute mark. Field in the control now of the race leader, Damien Cairns. He brings us back to green. Green flag flies. We're racing again on the streets of Long Beach. No further action. Sean van der Meulen and Wayne Visup 4 wide at down the inside. Good move, Tim Nicol. Well played. Oh, Sean Hart had to take evasive action to keep it off the wall. And then Tim Nicol almost clouded the outside wall through a waterfall section of the circuit. Have a look at Favell trying to find his way back to the front. Here's Michael Hammond beginning to charge back through the field. It is all happening here on the streets of Long Beach. But it's a little bit tamer than it was on the opening lap. A drive-through for Peter Foster for contact with Brett Bradbury at the start. So there have been a couple of penalties handed out. And Joe Mahoney off the restart. Have a look at the parking lot. Everybody comes to a crawling halt almost, coming back onto the main straight. And then Mahoney accelerates, hits the gas and gets going. And this is what happened to Brett Bradbury. Uh-oh, rear end gone. Thankfully only the tyre wall, not the concrete. It'll buff out. It's still good. Keep going. Michael Ladder. All on his own. That was concrete. He took company with him. He took the bottle entry with him. He went out in sympathy.
I wonder if they had damage there when they've hit the brake. It just launched the car to the left there.
Nick Fodiatis, by the way, has got back out there, but he is a lap down. He was stationary for 4 minutes and 48 seconds. Stephen Varga back to pit lane now as well. Now that is unexpected, because he was stationary already for 6 seconds first time round. Oh, it's a drive-through. There it is. As soon as I say it on the screen, drive-through penalty for Stephen Varga. That's unfortunate for him. Takes him out of contention in any way, shape or form. And this is slowly but surely becoming a survival of the fittest. Stay out of trouble, reap the reward. Oh, more trouble! Joe Baldwin in the wall. A graduate up into Super 2 this week, and it's all gone pear-shaped for Trucker. Alan Geel cops a 10-second penalty as well. I'm not sure if race control will get a chance to have a look at this side-by-side running. Not bad, Greg Favell, to get around Sean Hart to go back to fourth in the car race.
Oh, it's going to be 3 wide, though.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 wide, but Geel has a 15-second or 10-second invoice hanging over him, so he's not technically in the fight, despite being in the fight. Hart wants to force the issue with Favell on the inside. He'll be on the outside when they get down to turn 1. Good, clean, hard running between two frontmen in this category. Favell wins the corner. Favell wins the spot. Cairns, McKee, Nickel, Favell, Hart, Gilles, Proctor, Christensen, the top 8. They are all Super 2 runners. A secondary drive-through now for Stephen Varga for racing room 3 wide with Aaron Bryan on lap 1. So he's copped a double blow there, has Stephen Varga. 2 drive-throughs. Whoa. I don't know if I've ever seen 2 drive-throughs handed out to the same person in a 25-minute sprint race.
Well, I think what I saw, because he was in the first incident, and then he took off and he came across, like he came from the fence across the incident to take someone else out into Mikey's incident, I think. Saw that correctly on one of the replays.
So much happening here. It's good, it's fierce, it's relentless pace at the front. And yeah, Chris Stark highlights a good point. Very, very long pit lane here. Aaron Bryan fighting it up and clouding the wall on the rebound.
I think he clipped the inside wall trying to get the move done there.
Uh-oh. There's more drama here. Sean Vandermeulen's running into trouble. Joe Mahoney again. Vandermeulen now down 9 spots in 23rd. And Greg Favell into pit lane from 14th.
Oh,
on his pit box.
Brett Bradbury just locked the rears.
Bradbury, oh no. It's become a knock-on effect down there, and poor old Vandermeulen is the unlucky one. So Matson and Hammond go through.
I can't even click the replays, the ticker's moving so fast.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Enjoy the replay of the race at the end, folks. By gee. Good luck picking it all apart, making sense of it. There are some big beneficiaries in all of this. David Christensen being one of them, up 12 spots. Damien Cairns, 1 minute 20.227. The fastest lap of the race. And Cairns is well positioned at the moment to go on and win the thing. Lorne McKee sitting second. Tim Nicol third. Sean Hart fourth. Then Alan Gilles. Greg Brooks is responding to a comment regarding paintwork, I think.
Yeah, because remember at Long Beach when he first joined, he had the backwards paint job.
Adam Proctor didn't have the right paintwork a couple of weeks ago, did he?
Car, you put the Commodore paint on the forward, so it was all jigsaw puzzle all over the place.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he basically put his pants on backwards.
I love it. Yep. There's a very, very short list of things I wouldn't do to get Gold Coast on iRacing. Yeah, that's a fair point. Wouldn't it be something special? Wouldn't it be something else? Although, that being said, I would have preferred old school Gold Coast before they went and got rid of the back half of the opening lap of the track. Because it was just... I mean, it's still a good spectacle now as Nick Fodiatis ends up in more trouble. What's going on here? He's been sent in the pit lane, hasn't he? And he's come back out onto the racetrack from pit lane. Yeah, righto. Let's have a look at this. This is going to be bizarre.
Oh, Joe's lit up, tapped him, and he's overcorrected in the lane.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. It's just not been Nick's night on the streets of Long Beach. No, old school Gold Coast. I mean, yep, okay, we talk about the new school circuit, and that's been in there since 2010, but old school, for mine, was a better spectacle. A little bit more open, throttle, faster, etc. More passing opportunities. Yeah, they ruined it with all the housing and infrastructure development there, residential and business.
That first chicane on the back straight before the triple chicane was always a good spot.
Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, he's on the lead.
Excuse me?
He's on the lead. Oh, it's Liam.
Yep. Bang. Liam Miles on his lid, upside down. Now, if he wants to stay there, he could ask race control for a tow and therefore force the second safety car of the race, but I don't think it's going to work for him.
Too. He's going to the wall and got rear-ended.
Uh-oh. Bang.
no. How unlucky.
And that right there, just sums up the night, I reckon.
Well, to add insult to injury, he was leading the class too. He was leading Super 3s.
Yeah. Oh, more trouble brewing. Oh, they got out of it. Good play. Brian got bailed out of it. So, Sam Stride, Craig Mason, Mark McNamara, and Aaron Bryan, the top 4 in Super 3 at the moment. Dimitri Kolbach is fifth. But the interesting thing here is it's a 4-way fight with Craig Mason at the head of it for second position in Super 3.
No, what is it?
And look at how hamstrung they are.
The thing is, Favel's pitted, and his pit stop was 30 seconds.
Oh. What the hell's going on there? Ryan Shaw pointing out the obvious. Yes, they go quicker when they're on when they're on their 4 wheels rather than on their lid. Dimitri Kolbach trying to find his way through the mess here at turn 1. Well, there'll be a few. I thought there were going to be a few people to see, happy to see the back of MotorLand Aragón tonight in GT3. I reckon there's going to be a few people more, or even happier, to see the back of the Long Beach Street Circuit in Super 2 and Super 3. Michael Hammond wants to get up close and personal with Jared Knight and Aaron Bryan. Craig Mason's in there as well.
Mikey's on a charge. He's at the back of the field. He's up to 12th. He started.
Huge repair bill coming tonight.
Mikey started the safety car restart basically last, and he's up to 12th.
Yep, up to 12th. Just making way with everything that's unfolded with attrition and penalties, and he is making inroads here and serious inroads.
And that's effectively 9th in class too, because there's still 3 more Super 3s in front of him.
And there's still no guarantee as they come back to the line with 6 minutes to go. There's still no guarantee that this top batch of 10 cars won't have to stop at some point. There goes Craig Mason into pit lane right now. Adam Proctor running 6th at the moment. That's outright. He's got David Christensen for company. Graham won't be liking that. He's getting some of his own banter and sledging thrown back at him tonight. Chris Stark's there and means business. Now, this is what happened to Joe. Classic.
Just way too deep.
Yep. Classic end of back straight performance at Long Beach.
And that's Favel.
Taken company. Greg Favel into him. That's why Favel was... Yep. Wow. Oh, that's after.
That was only just now.
So Greg Favel won't be winning this round of the championship, ladies and gentlemen. Pete Matson's on pit lane. Joe Mahoney's back there. Liam Miles is back out on the racetrack after his earlier incident.
Mate,
so to Nick Podiatis and Peter Foster.
There's no way anyone. The amount of red that's showing up on my thing, I couldn't show replays. We would need like an hour and a half to show replays to them in live action.
And we haven't got an hour. Well, we do at the end of the race unless you've got an early start tomorrow morning. I do actually this week. Just got to stay off the wall and keep it clean around here. It's a very good point, but it's easier said than done when you've got moving hurdles and obstacles and targets bouncing off walls into you. So many people caught up in incidents as innocent bystanders tonight.
I wouldn't say he took him out, Starkey. He was sort of...
No.
He had his own accident, and Favel had his own accident into his accident.
That's right. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck, race control. That's all I'm going to say.
So we've still got 4 minutes of this left.
It might be the single biggest incident report sheet for a 25-minute race in club history, I reckon.
Well, we'll just have to we'll post a message in the RC chat that any complaints about track selection to Chris Stark. Exactly.
Yep. Oh, well played, Adam Lavis. Just throw him under the bus whilst he's watching online. Well played. Now we have a look at Jared Knight there in 12th place, minding his own business, down 4 spots on where he started. But he is one of the drivers to have stopped for a little bit of fresh rubber and a little bit of juice. Down they go. Cairns, McKee, Nickel, Hart, Geel, Proctor and Christensen, the top 7 at the moment. Stride, McNamara, Hammond, Bryan, Knight, Kolbach, Vizza and Griffiths to 15th. No, that's true. Round onto the main straight. Have a look at Kolbach's car. It's very much worse for wear. Having a look at pit lane, Greg Favell, Joe Baldwin, Joe Mahoney all in there at the moment. As far as the rest of it's concerned, Pete Matson's parked up and done for the night. He is actually, believe it or not, the first officially lodged retirement. Wayne Vizzer showing his first in the moment, first in to be confirmed class.
I think, from his qualifying pace, I'm leaning towards he'll be in Super 2. So that would put him, what's that, 8, 9, 10th currently in class.
Gotcha. Very nicely done. Let's continue here. Yes, I figured as much, Josh. Thank you for the clarification. Can we get a series where... very nice. There's some great comments coming in tonight, folks. Glad you're enjoying the carnage of Destruction Derby supercar style on the streets of Long Beach, courtesy of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club.
So answer Ryan's question. So currently, Viz isn't currently allocated. He'll be allocated based on tonight's results.
Yep. Joe Baldwin joins us from pit lane on the scrap heap. Trucker, fair income. Safety car one day, Destruction Derby the next.
Yeah, that's certainly not the way I was expecting Long Beach. I love this place, but I don't know, just struggled tonight. I think actually, I think about 80% of the field struggled here, a lot more than normal.
More than usual.
Look, I just got to apologise to Greg. I missed the downshift and understeered straight into the wall and left him nowhere to go. So I couldn't even get on the button and warn him that I was sitting there. He wouldn't have missed me anyway.
Yeah, no, it didn't look like he was going to miss you. It looked like he was going to go ploughing straight into you, mate, unfortunately. So that's a drop round and a rare one at that for Greg Favell. Here it is again. Oh, yeah, he was locking it up, trying to take evasive action.
Yeah,
and
I
he ended
made
up
sure
just drifting into
there. Yeah, I actually turned hard right and tried to, throttle up so it had come against the wall. It just didn't happen. These things, they don't work like that, unfortunately. I feel terrible for Greg. But, yeah. So,
and what's even more interesting here, Trucker, stay with me, just to let everybody know, the top 8 are coming to the white flag this time by, or it might actually already be out. Let's just have a look as they come back down the main straight here. The white flag is out, so they are actually coming to the checkered flag this time by, and the top 8 are still yet to stop. They are good on fuel. And Trucker, I think the fact that the safety car got dragged out to 3 laps has helped a lot of people with regards to playing that strategy game. Anyone that opted to stop was hoping that the guys that were trying to save fuel and do it on no stops might have got caught out.
Yeah, definitely. And Graham Stewart's nailed it in one. Chaos equals great viewership. Ratings off the charts at 0 regrets. I couldn't agree more.
Regrets. Yes.
Regrets. Zero regrets.
Round onto the main straight. Here we go. Damien Cairns capitalises on the downfall of his teammate Greg Favell to win on the streets of Long Beach. Well played. Vaughan McKee second and Tim Nicol third.
He would be happy that his teammate got the chocolates today, and absolutely with the 3 laps, I had my finger on the clutch button. Did I say that? Yeah, the whole time under the safety cars, and there was plenty of fuel. And I think I was going to end up with 6 litres left in the tank. So just Aaron
Bryan's had a spin coming to the checkered flag, and that will see him consolidate 12th as the rest of the field make their way around. Cairns, McKee, Nicol, Hart, Geel the top 5, Proctor in for 6th, then Christensen 7th, up 12 spots, one of the big movers of the night. As far as Super 2 was concerned, he was the biggest mover of the night. As far as Super 3 was concerned, Sam Stride up 12, Mark McNamara up 13, Hammond was 8th in class, 9th outright, McNamara made up the top 10, Stride, McNamara, and Bryan the top 3 in Super 3. And an eventful race that is going to go down in the record books as far as probably the biggest report sheet of the season from Race Control. And it'll go down in the club history books as one that spectators, viewers, commentators absolutely loved. Plenty to see, plenty to watch, plenty to enjoy. One that the respective banking institutions of all and sundry will be not pleased about, and one that plenty of our drivers will be happy to see the back of. Damien Cairns from Lorne McKee, Tim Nichols, Sean Hart, Alan Gill, Adam Proctor, David Christensen, Michael Hammond, Jared Knight, and Brendan Griffiths, the top 10 in Super 2. A couple of retirements in all of that as well. Super 3, it was Stride from McNamara, Brian Colbatch, Mason Ladder, Bradbury, Foster, Isles, and Kosh, with Pete Matson a retirement. And on the subject of retirements, there were a couple of people that have already seen themselves out here. And if you didn't make it, well, what did we end with? 16 laps. So you had to make it to 12 to be classified. So that rules out Greg Favell, Joe Baldwin, Pete Matson, and Joe Mahoney as well. The carnage, unfortunately, Trucker all started right from the start. Let's have a look at the replay here. What was your view of all of this, please?
Chaos, smoke. Sorry.
No, you're right. Keep going. Tim Nichols just been caught off guard because we dragged him in very quickly from Discord's Green Room channel.
Yeah.
You go, Trucker. Oh.
Yeah, no, it was chaos, smoke. I ended up parked hard up on the left-hand curb here. There was a car park by the time I got down here to turn 1, and here I'm there just pulling up. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going any further. So, but there was incidents behind me even before I got down there. I think there was 3 major incidences before we got down to turn 1, including the one that Mikey was involved with it. Turn 1 there, I think he got a bit of help. Yeah, so that one, there's that one. Then there's this one.
That one on the right-hand side. And then
we had the one down at turn 1. So I got through the chaos and killed myself once we went green.
Yes, indeed.
So,
you did. And it's interesting how our Super 2 and Super 3 cohort were able to take evasive action here and slam on the anchors, whereas if that was Super 2 in the real world, it just would have been stacks on.
Brake pedals are optional in
apparently,
that series, aren't they?
Yes. After recent events, I think we can all agree on that. And yes, that was a direct sledge in the general direction of the entire field at Mount Panorama. Now, Trucker, what about the fact that you've been promoted to Super 2, mate, and you're stuck there for the rest of the campaign? This isn't necessarily the way you would have wanted to start at that, but at least you got 2 opportunities to redeem yourself.
Yeah, we'll run over to Aragón here, and I don't know whether or not we've got rain at Aragón, but I'll try and do better in the GT3. But yeah, 2 more rounds of the other Super 2s. Look, it's good fun. I don't mind getting put up. I'm only in it for fun. I wasn't a championship contender either way this season, so yeah, just get in there and have a bit of fun with the boys. Try and be a bit more competitive, I guess.
Indeed. You mentioned the prospect or the potential for raid at Aragón. We can't wait to get over there and see what iRacing has dished up for us. As far as you're concerned, though, mate, persevering with Aragón after getting through 40 minutes in the Porsche the other night, I like your approach.
I got talked into it. Adam's like, it's easy in a GT3, so we'll give it a go.
All right. In which case, Adam can expect a sheer ear bashing if that isn't the case. Yes, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to it immensely, mate. And you know the drill. More than welcome to come back and join us in Central Commentary if you have a love-hate relationship with the joint and you decide to park up for the night.
Definitely. Well, are we broadcasting the Pro or the
and for race 1, Pro for race 2?
Right, too easy. We might see you in there.
All right, mate. Looking forward to it immensely. Good luck. Go well.
Thanks, guys.
And if he finds that Adam Lavis has in fact stitched him up, we will see Joe Baldwin back here at some point, because it was a tough sell to get him to go around in the Porsche there the other night as well. Tim Nichols here, Lorne McKee's here, race winner Damien Cairns is here. We got first, second, and third in reverse order, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start with you, Damien Cairns. A race that was won on a little bit of fuel saving, but also won on track position, pipping Greg Favell off the start, avoiding all the carnage, and keeping a clear and clean set of heels about you, mate. It served you well, and you went on with it in a commanding 3.4 second win. Well done.
Yeah, when it's your night, it's your night. So, yeah, you take it every time. But, yeah, just had to qualify up the front, get up the front, try to stay out of trouble. And around a track like this, that's all you can do to get a good result. I was pretty happy
That is
in
the case.
that 0x as well. So it was good just to be out the front, just drive my own race and not have to worry about people trying to pass you and all that sort of stuff.
How lucky are you, by the way, that you were able to not only get the W and keep the winning streak alive for the team, but at the same time, get a 0x, that sort of stuff in that race that was chock-a-block full of action, carnage, prangs, and damaged cars. That's almost unheard of. So well done to you. Obviously, the car felt good.
Yeah, the car felt great through the whole race, the whole stint. It just felt wonderful, and didn't have to push it too hard just to keep my lap times and keep it going. It was it was a great setup.
And I guess the only real question I've got for you here, because we spent a good 8 or 9 minutes under the caution. How close, how tight were we on fuel tank capacity at the end there, mate? How much was left?
There wasn't a great deal left, but I reckon if we hadn't had that extra lap, it would have been a lot more fuel saving to get to the end. Had to do a little bit, but so it would have made it really close.
Yeah, well, this is exactly right. I mean, when you look at the amount of drivers that opted to come in for that optional splash and dash partway through the safety car period, I think they were having the same debate with themselves. It was a case of pick a lane, zig or zag. Zig was play the fuel save game, run the long game, hope that you don't have to stop. And then obviously those that stopped were hoping that you guys might have got caught out, but you didn't in the end.
No, we got away with it. We were lucky. We managed to have enough fuel to get home and get home pretty comfortably in the end. So it was good. Really enjoyed that race. It was always fun when you're out the front, and track position in here is key.
And your old teammate Greg Favell, I mean, that was unlucky for him because, well, let's face it, at the end of the day, it will go down as a drop round for him. It will go down as a DNF. It's not often that we say that in relation to him. It makes things interesting as far as the next 2 rounds of the championship are concerned, but it goes to show also that no one's invincible on this circuit. No one's immune. If you're going to end up in traffic, there's a fair chance you'll end up in some sort of carnage and trouble. Absolutely,
100%. And we managed to put the full fuel in this week, so we didn't get caught out with poly fuel like we did last week. So
yes,
that helped a lot, actually having fuel in the car and not pitting after one lap, because that's all you've got. So it's not as though it's a Formula E setup. You need juice to run. That's right. You normally only remember when it's about 5 seconds to go till you're about to go, and you go, oh no. So
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't have thought no would have been the word you used, quite frankly. But I'm glad you cleaned it up for broadcast.
Not a problem.
Obviously, a little bit disappointing that we don't have rain available to us in these cars just yet. That'll hopefully come in the course of time. But if it was going to be deployed anywhere, next week, Donington Park would have been the place to do it. What are your thoughts on that venue for the penultimate round of the championship?
Yeah, I haven't been there for a bit, so get over there, do a few laps, and hopefully we can do it again next week and see how we finish up in the championship.
All right, mate, and of course the final round takes us to Phillip Island, and that will bring with it an extra bit of racing time, an extra 20 minutes, and also, of course, more points up for grabs. But you're right there in the thick of it when it matters, mate. We're looking forward to seeing how the last 2 rounds of the championship play out. Things are looking good for you and Greg, despite that little blip in the road for Greg tonight. But it just goes to show you it's so easy to get caught up in other people's incidents as an innocent bystander on a concrete canyon. It doesn't matter who you are. No one's invincible around here. Well done, Damien. Great win, mate. Not the first time that we've been able to say that to you this season. I take it, though, Greg's going back to the drawing board with his race starts, because after a couple of weeks of nailing it, tonight was a shocker. Yes, it was. So I'll have to see what he's going to do about it. So maybe we'll have to give him some practice on it. Maybe so. All right, mate. Very nicely done. Congratulations. All right, no worries. Thanks very much. Very nicely done, Damien Cairns. From Damien to Lorne McKee. We've got Tim Nicol here as well, so too Wayne Vizzer. Hey, Lorne, well done, mate. A great result. The 273 held off the 23 towards the end, but did you feel pressured at any point? Because, I mean, Tim was there or thereabouts every step of the way in the back end of the race there.
Yeah, thanks. Eyes are definitely in the mirror as we were travelling around. He's always a fierce competitor, so yeah, always looking backwards.
I just had a message pop up on right of screen there from Josh Zuno. Huge shout out to me. You're welcome, mate. It was nice to be here. I hope the day got a little bit smoother for you. I'm not sure how you went about sorting things out after the little detour you blokes had to take to get to the race in the first place, but that's a conversation we'll have you at a later point in time. But no, some great racing from Watkins Glen yesterday. If you did tune in for the Enduro, I do hope you enjoyed it. Lorne, when we look at the results there, I mean, up 2 spots, most of the damage done pretty early in the piece, avoided the carnage. That was such a key component to achieving any sort of result here. Success was almost dictated by it, but in saying that, that was only half the struggle, because you had to get through, make the same decision as everybody else, whether you go in for a top up or stay out and fuel save. But then the biggest challenge around here isn't necessarily dealing with everybody else around you. I mean, that does come into it, and fending off people like Tim Nicol. But one of the biggest aspects of this is keeping it clean in your own right, because if you trip up here, as you've seen tonight, it's costly for anyone.
Oh, definitely. There's no second chances around tracks like this. Obviously, qualifying well puts you in good stead for the race, and that's where you want to be. And we all put a bit of time in this week to get up the front for that particular reason. So, it pays dividends.
Yeah, exactly. Practice makes perfect, as they say, and pays dividends for you guys. I mean, it can just as easily fall the other way, but thankfully that wasn't the case for you tonight. How are you enjoying the added element of this now that we've got an all-in server? We've got both the Super 2 and the Super 3s out there. Given the nature of the race, given that we had excuse me, given that we had also, I'm going to clear my throat here while you answer this question. Let me hope that I can spit it out in time. Given that we also had pit stops, the safety car, people running into trouble, traffic, how do you deal with the extra cars on the circuit?
Oh, it's definitely different. It adds another element to it, that's for sure. The street circuits, and especially ones like this, it's just full on from the moment the flag or the lights go green. You're mentally trying to control what you're doing. You're thinking about strategy. You're checking out everyone around you. It's pretty full on tracks like this. There's no rest.
Thankfully, next week a little bit more. Well, I'll say space in terms of grass to the left, grass to the right, then the walls. But the racetrack's certainly as narrow, if not narrower, in terms of its width. Yeah. Donington Park, your thoughts on that as the venue for the penultimate round of the championship, and how you think you might fare personally?
I personally like the track. I like these cars. I like the series, and I seem to be going well towards the back end. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, 5th last week, 2nd this week. Certainly on the right way up the leaderboard, no doubt about that. And then, of course, we finish off with Phillip Island, which is always a favourite, mate.
Oh, definitely. I think everyone's done plenty of laps around there, and it's always very competitive.
And if anything else, that's the sort of night that you'll see a couple of cameo appearances as well. A few blokes throwing a spanner in the works for you, guys that are in some sort of championship fight, even if it's just a positional battle further down the leaderboard off the outright podium, mate.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's always that element in those sort of meetings. So yeah.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. What else are you sinking your teeth into GSRC racing wise this week, please?
I'm not going to get much time this week, unfortunately. So, but we'll be back. Do a bit of practice, and we'll be back for next Monday night.
All right, mate. Looking forward to it immensely. Go well, and well done tonight. As I say, the key to success, part of the struggle was keeping your nose clean, and the other part was avoiding incidents around you. You did that. You fended off Tim Nicol as well. A well-deserved podium for you, and enjoy that, and we look forward to Donington.
Thank you very much. Catch you guys later.
There he is, Lorne McKee. Tim, I'm going to come back to you in a moment. Hey, Wayne Visser, 13th outright, but what a bloody initiation to supercars, please.
What an initiation now. I've just looked up there and Adams decided, I'll put him into Super2s next week. Thanks, Adam.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Adam.
Yes, promoted straight away.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had a bit of an incident at the start, and I thought I'd sneak up the inside, and there was two other cars beside the other one that hit me, and we spun into the wall.
Yep.
So we missed all the rest of the mayhem up in front. So time I got back in the pits, fixed the car, and just consistent. I've got a headache from bloody trying to concentrate so much.
Yeah.
It's good racing though. It was good fun. Get to where I am.
Yeah, exactly. That makes for, I mean, from our standpoint, Adam's accident ledger was going off the Richter scale tonight. He couldn't keep up with the amount of incident alerts that were coming up on his screen. It was having a heart attack of sorts. It was just incredible. From our standpoint in the commentary box, we found it hard to follow because everywhere you looked, there was something going on. So if you left that and went to something else happened somewhere else. You know, it was just madness. It was off the chart. We needed the 7 Sport mega wall. But in saying that, from a driver's standpoint, how much of a rush of blood is that for 25 minutes, and how much of a workout is that, not just on you as the driver, but mentally, like the brain ticking overgear?
Oh, mentally drained. I'm thinking that's just one hard track to try and keep your foot on the throttle and try and be gentle on the throttle, hard on the brakes, not trying to lock it up and lose it. So, and then try not to hit anyone else. So, yeah, it was a lot of hard work, but good fun. I love the track. Just getting used to it. So, I've got some decent pedals. I can actually play with my throttle, so it's not full on or full off. So, got a bit of an S curve in my throttle, so it makes it a bit easier. So, yeah, I enjoyed that. But it was good fun driving around the boys I was racing with.
Yeah.
And then poor old Nick got hit by Matto, and all I seen was in the rear vision mirror was I couldn't see where Nick had gone. All of a sudden, he said he was in the fence. I went,
Yep. Yeah, Nick had a night to forget, let's be perfectly honest. Blindsided at the start, and then ended up getting turned into the pit lane wall. But good luck to Race Control picking all of it apart. We're doing our best here, but we're running out of time. Viz, two more things for you. A double-edged question here, and I want you to tackle both for me if you can. Firstly, why now to make your supercar race debut? I mean, there's a lot of people that would be like, hang on, you haven't been in supercars before. Again, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but for Australian races particularly, it seems to be the first place they go. And secondly, has tonight scared you off, or will we see you back on the grid next week?
No, I'll be back. Because I've got Greg, Starkey, Jaden, Brian, and Adam, they're all racing the V8, so I thought I'd come and watch them. I was doing a bit of a practice with them when they were doing practice sessions, and then the up and comers done a couple of races with the V8s, and I done really well on them. So I thought, well, because there's only Adam in tonight, so I thought I'll jump in, use a sponsor a couple more cars in there, and see how I go. So yeah, I loved it. It was good fun. I really enjoyed that track.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. We enjoyed seeing you out there as well, and we look forward to you being in the Super 2 grid next week.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, Adam, thanks, mate. Love your work.
Don't thank me. Thank you, Pace.
Is there any sarcasm attached to that at all? No, that is a rhetorical question. Good on you, Wayne. Thank you.
Do one race and go straight to Super 2. Thanks.
Yes. There he is, Wayne Visser. Hey, nice to have you at a post-race show as well, mate. It's been far too long between things there.
It's been a long time. Thanks,
good on
boys.
you, mate.
Have a great
night. Tim Nicol, congratulations to you. Well done. An interesting night at the office. Keeping your nose clean, paid dividends up 3 spots. So first was up 1, second was up 2, third was up 3. Carnage off the start. Thankfully, all in your rearview mirror. And how close were you to having a crack at Lorne McKee there at the end?
Yeah, thanks, Zach. I I hate this track. I got some really, really bad memories here of racing with Mark Duggan. Him and I go way back.
I think there's a few people that'll be able to sympathise with you after tonight.
There's been some interesting videos posted about my incident. But anyway, no, I got through without an incident. I couldn't believe it. Lap 1. And on the back of Lorne, we raced last week together. I said to him, because I looked at his pace in qualifying, I said, it looks like we're not racing together this week. And then next minute, we're together again. He's as fierce as I am. He's got to make a mistake for me to be able to get past him. We're similar pace, similar driving style. I thought 2 laps to go, he touched the wall and damaged the steering. I thought I might have had a chance, but his car was still good.
Indeed, and as far as you're concerned, mate, I mean, consistent results yield consistent championship outcomes, and you're right there at the pointy end to have a crack at the top end of town when it matters. Tonight, a relief to get the tick in the box, get a third place finish, and press on to Donington Park, no doubt.
Yes, Donington. And it's nice always to get a podium, especially when you're racing against either my own teammate, Stephen Varga, and the Gregs and the Damians. They're quick guys. They don't allow you to make any mistakes. It was a good race. I think it was Pink's brother-in-law, Sean Hart. He did make it tricky for me on the restart. And I stuffed up the restart with the safety car because I was worried that I might get black flagged if I drove past it. And the next minute I seen Sean, he was on the gas and coming, so I had to keep it tight on the inside. But apart from that, clean race. It was good, no incidents, which is unlike me. Donington, nice track, nice flowy mid part of that. I think it's maybe after turn 1 or 2, and it goes down and around. Enjoy it. Should be good. A good race. Some good overtaking opportunities on that track. So looking forward to it.
All right, very nicely done. Congratulations on surviving Destruction Derby Supercar GSRC style. Demolition Derby in some parts of the field. There's a few walking wounded after that. The damage bill, thankfully, only a figment of our imagination, considering the virtual aspect of all of this. But looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table across the next 2 weeks, and hopefully take the fight to the likes of Cairns and Favel, and obviously Greg's been brought back to the field ever so slightly tonight. It sets up very nicely for a couple of big weeks here. Firstly, your thoughts on the final race being an extra 20 minutes. Whether that's going to add any extra stress and fatigue to it, and secondly, how much are you enjoying having a fuller grid, a busier racetrack out there now?
I'll tack Phillip Island. I'm looking forward to it. I'm conditioned with V8 vets to run the longer run, so that's not an issue. Yep. I'm hoping I've got a cracker of a setup. I had a cracker of a setup when I was racing Scott's Support, so hopefully it's still dialed in and can really take it to the boys up the front. And you know what? It's always good to say that you can beat Greg Faville, so that's twice. You know, he doesn't show up. I beat him. He knows it. What was the other question?
The other question was, how are you enjoying having Super 3 out there now as well, mate, and having a bit of a busier racetrack? Is that good or bad in your view?
Look, it's good if they don't get in my way. But look, the reality, I think Long Beach was going to be the test. I don't know what the guys were like in the back. We had a couple of back markers that came through us. They'll consider it and let us through after a couple of laps of testing their pace against us. So. If they all drive like that, then there's no issue. It's it'll just be on the longer race in Phillip Island. If people are trying to do a fuel strategy and they go on for an early undercut, they may be caught out with some of the slower drivers. And as we know, most guys are pretty consistent and pretty close around Phillip Island because it's a popular track. So you can't let your guard down at Phillip Island, even with split 3 guys.
All right, mate. Very nicely done from you. Congratulations. Looking forward. I reckon traffic might play a bit of a part in the role at Phillip Island because it is a slightly longer race, but looking forward to seeing what it brings to the table nevertheless, and good luck for the final 2 weeks of the campaign.
Nah, cheers. And it looks like I need to change my photo on my... looks like a criminal photo.
The old mugshot.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, all good.
Excellent.
Cheers, mate. Take it easy.
Thank you, mate. You too. Tim Nicol, well done. Cans from McKee, Nicol, Hart and Geel tonight in Super 2. Stride from McNamara, Brian and also Colbatch and Mason in Super 3. Favel leads the championship by 34 points. Cans, Nicol, Hart now just 8 points behind Nicol, and then another 15 back to Stephen Varga, who had an absolute night to forget, an absolute shocker if ever there was one, in at 5th place. Geel, Hammond, Fraser, then McKee and Buchanan the top 10. As far as Super 3 is concerned, Brian continues to lead there, 55 points back to Boardman. Colbatch. Boardman took the right option tonight, drop round. See you next week. Colbatch, Jeffries and Davidson the top 5. A quick break on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We do it each Monday or Wednesday, and Wednesday's still TB confirmed, but I reckon we're doing the last 2 Wednesdays as per previous discussions that we've had. And Thursday is definite, with thanks to Player One Sim Gear, Waste Options, the great people at Lobesy Racing, and also M-Wave Australia and Flash Graphics and Sprayton Cider as well. A break and back. Monday Night Motorsport, night 1 of week 8 in term 1 of 2024, and back to Aragón, this time for sprint racing and GT3 for Waste Options. The AM split first, the Pro split second. 3 servings of motorsport action for you tonight on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Hope you're enjoying it and I hope you can stick with us. Oh, good, mate. Thank you. The Gentleman Sim Racing Club and Monday Night Motorsport. Nice to have you along for the ride wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia or indeed the world. It's become a routine part of the weekly ritual for us for the better part of 4 years. We're glad that you keep coming along for the ride. To the MotorLand Aragón circuit in Spain tonight for Waste Options GT3, the fourth and final sprint round of the campaign. And first up, we'll bring you race 1 of round 8 for the AM split. And then, of course, get stuck into the Pro split on the back end of that. Their feature race over 37 minutes. The sprint race for AM over 21. There's the lay of the land as far as the circuit's concerned. 5.3 kilometres in length. The temperature is, well, we're at 2:32 in the afternoon, Eastern European time. And it's 13 kilometre an hour winds, 19 degrees the ambient, 22 on track. And this is one of the more recent additions to the server for iRacing. And, of course, when you look at the circuit, it's not the MotoGP configuration. It is the four-wheel configuration with that hairpin at the back of the back straight, not that long, sweeping, flowing uphill left-hander. We've got foggy conditions. Foggy conditions! We're excited about this for the first time in the history of our coverage of GT3 with thanks to Waste Options. A little bit of variance on the weather front. Foggy conditions to kick us off. 2:33 in the afternoon. Nice and cloudy for you. 10th of March 2024. And Matt Schmidtke leading Parry Anastakis to the green flag. On the second row, Scott Wooden and David Bernays, Brett Bradbury and James Franco in the third row. Adam Chiplin, Daniel Piper the fourth, Tom Williams and Phil Butler the fifth. The sixth row is where you'll find Warren Ibert and also Benjamin Lavender in reverse order. Trent Naylor and Brian Bullock, seventh row. Eighth row, Joe Baldwin, Neil Gladwin. Ninth row is Nick Fodiatis, Adam Hennessy. 10th row, Robert McGrath and Tristan Koch. No Nick Fodiatis on the grid, it doesn't appear, which means Greg Padgett and Lachlan Thomas will bring us to the rear of the field. So Nick Fodiatis not showing on our screen at the moment. He might be in the pit lane, or he might have suffered an internet dropout, one or the other. And there's already one car pulling up. What's going on here? Parry Anastakis is tied for the lane. Okay, this is interesting. Oh, no.
His force feedback must have died.
Oh, no. Scott Wooden leads this championship, 229 points to Daniel Piper's 189. William Yarwood's level with him. Philip Butler, 187, and Adam Chiplin, 179. To the green flag we go. This race has already been flipped on its lid with Nick Fodiatis on pit lane and Parry Anastakis, unfortunately, in all sorts with his wheel configuration. The little 1%ers early on as Matt Schmidtke leads us away. David Bernays, the beneficiary of some of the action at the start. He's up 2 spots. Scott Wooden back to 3rd. Brett Bradbury is up to 5th. And James Franco up to 4th. Chiplin, Piper, Williams, Butler, Lavender, Ibert, all up 1 spot. Joe Baldwin up 3 spots. A blinder of a start from Trucker. Trent Naylor is there in 13th place, having gained no positions whatsoever just yet. Parry Anastakis is back out there. So too Nick Fodiatis. They are back at the rear of the field in 22nd and 23rd respectively, having lost 20 and 6 race positions respectively. Now, let's tackle the big news topics first here, Adam Lavis. The biggest talking point is that there are some little oh no, trouble. Daniel Piper round in the wall. There are some little new toys and features for you to play with regards to setting these servers up. It's all got to do with the elements and the ambience. But let's highlight that on the way to talking about why we won't see any McLarens and any Fords on the grid for the next 3 weeks, please.
Yeah, so iRacing in their infinite wisdom, when they've done the updates, they've updated the IMSA multi-class class, which only has 6 out of the 8 GT3 cars. So the McLaren and the GT40 haven't been given their weather tyres yet, so therefore you can't do the full Tempest experience if you have those cars in the surface. So, but luckily for us, there was only 2 guys that had used those cars over the 2 splits. So I pulled them aside, and they were willing to swap cars for the benefit of everybody else to have that chance of rain. Like, I'm not going to go out there and play God and put rain everywhere, but I have let the forecast predictor go and do its thing, which is why I wasn't expecting fog tonight. We have fog because we have a new weather system which is a bit more realistic and tries to go off the average temperature for this time of the year in Aragon.
Indeed. Warren Ibert under pressure, under assault from Joe Baldwin down on the inside. Trucker up 5 spots on a charge here early.
Yeah, no,
Ibert gets him back.
He definitely doesn't like Aragon.
No, doesn't like Aragon at all. Does not like Aragon at all. And it's interesting, Zach Christie just alerting us to the fact that he's got a new livery for us to have a look at tonight once we get to the pro split. Looking forward to that, mate. We'll keep an eye out. See, this is the thing. We love a stitch up occasionally. I didn't know when you told him that Aragon in the GT3 is easy. I didn't know whether you were luring him into a trap or whether you were being fully and solely sincere.
I didn't say it was easy. I said it'd be easier in a GT3 than it would be in the P Cup car because these cars are a little bit more predictable with how they handle.
This is true, and so far so good for him.
And they got a little bit more rear grip. That was what he was having trouble with the Porsche. He was pushing a bit hard, overheating those rear tyres, and went for a couple of donuts.
Yep. 3 minutes 40 gone. It's a 21-minute race, and lap times around here around about that 2-minute marker. So you're looking at an 11-lap race for the opener tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Across the start-finish line we go. Matt Schmidtke leads the field, blue and yellow. So Lamborghini, Ferrari, Audi, BMW, Porsche, and Mercedes all represented in this field tonight. Sharing the love right across the board, 6 from 6. 159.285 for Matt Schmidtke, 159.234 for Tom Williams. How about that? Excellent stuff. Right now, we've got Scott Wooden here on screen, under pressure from James Francone, and the fog is... Well, it's actually really strange to see fog at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the only thing that's off-putting as far as I'm concerned. But that's the Tempest weather system for you. It is a fantastic system. There's no doubt about that. It has reinvented the wheel. It's certainly been it's been the flavour of the month, the talk of the town in iRacing circles. It's bringing people back to the sport of sim racing, which is good to see. Some replays for you, Michael Ladder, firstly. Rear end. See ya. Lights it up. Tristan Koch. Oh, just the tiniest little bit of curb. Grass, curb.
What the go? It's lucky.
Being corrected on the way through.
Oh, that's unlucky for Paz.
He can't take a trick tonight, our mate, can he? He's back out there and he's soldiering on in the Calamari Racing Porsche, but he's down in 19th place. Lachlan Thomas is down on pit road, it's important to note. But Parianastakis is now 19th behind Nick Fodiatis, and only 0.3 of a second behind him, it's important to note. They are battling for the minors, but incidents like that will just add insult to injury for Paz. Up onto the main straight, Adam Chiplin under pressure now. Tom Williams to the inside. Chiplin, wide through the corner, but he'll hold it tight through turn 2 and keep Williams at bay. It's a good little tussle at the moment, and we've got battles right across the racetrack. Here is Joe Baldwin in 10th place, running the Ferrari. So as far as field breakdown is concerned, still plenty of Ferraris out there, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Ferraris out there. Lachlan Thomas is parked up and is done for the night after 3 minutes 18 on pit road. Tristan Koch being displaced by Parry Anastakis, now through into 17th. Nick Fodiatis has fallen back to 19th. And we've got a good little four-way fight there behind Trent Naylor. Ben Lavender's who we've picked up now, chasing Philip Butler, keeping Joe Baldwin at bay. Joe, of course, sitting 10th at the moment. Up 5 spots on where he started. Biggest mover of the night thus far, I believe, is Robert McGrath, up 7 spots. And that's from 19th on the grid up into 12th. Matt Schmidtke, the sole only one of 2 in the Lambos tonight, the other one being Tristan Koch. There are quite a few Audis out there. Geez, that was close for Lavender. Scott Wooden, the best placed of those. Trent Naylor, Nick Fodiatis, Brian Bullock, the others. As far as Merck's concerned, Michael Ladder and Neil Gladwin are the only 2 representing Mercedes tonight. And Adam Chiplin, I knew there was a manufacturer with only one sole Ranger, sole flyer. It is, in fact, Adam Chiplin in the BMW, who we are riding with now in 5th place. So a battle for first active, Matt Schmidtke, David Bernays. And Scott Wooden and James Franco actively fighting for second. And then this train in the battle for 5th is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars deep. Little bit of a gap back between 9th and 10th, or 8th and 9th in that, Butler and Lavender. But it won't take much to close up. A big slipstreaming opportunity down the front straight and the back straight here at the MotorLand Aragón circuit. Oh, wide goes Schmidtke. Wide goes Schmidtke. Have a look at Bernays trying to force the issue around the outside to the race lead. Schmidtke only slightly wide, but it's enough to trip up and fall back into second. Bernays the leader at MotorLand Aragón in the fog. Not what we were expecting. The way he actually hit the pedal to the metal, kept the foot to the floor, and held it around the outside. Very impressive from Bernays. Schmidtke all over him like a cheap suit as they entered the hairpin at the end of the back straight and come back up onto the front straight now. Another lap in the books. Let's go. 5 gone, 6 to go at MotorLand Aragón. It's a huge night on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Already one race in the can. This one far less eventful than even the opening lap at Long Beach was, let alone the first 5. Tom Williams sitting in 7th place, up 2 spots. Is all over Brett Bradbury like a cheap suit at the moment. James Francone is keeping Scott Wooden honest. We've got 4 different manufacturers in the top 5 and 5 in the top 6. The best of the Mercs is 13th through Neil Gladwin, but the only manufacturer not in the top 10 at the moment. And if Francone was to slip down behind Chiplin and Bradbury, unlikely given the buffer that he has on them at the moment, which is about 3 seconds on Bradbury and 2 on Chiplin, then it would be 5 manufacturers in the top 5. Francone a little bit happy, I would imagine, a little bit chipper and chirpy about the performance of the Parramatta Reels over the weekend, opening round of the NRL. And I noticed we noticed the livery a couple of weeks ago, so every time we see him, it's a reminder that the footy season has finally arrived and got underway. Tom Williams sitting in 6th place at the moment. Adam Lavis, this is a circuit that you quite enjoy. And it's slowly but surely building a fan base, but it's taken a while to win members over.
Well, it's a fast-flowing track with lots of technical sections, a bit of undulation, and this really tight hairpin too is very tricky to get some of these cars with their teams to go around and get the bit nice fast line, because straight away you got to get across to the left to get this right-hander to open it up to get a good run up the hill because it's all uphill. So exit out of the hairpin is key. Well, exit out of both. Exit out of the hairpin, exit out of the reverse corkscrew. Oh, look out, we've lost someone.
Trouble. Yeah, it's Warren Ibert. Warren Ibert's off the road. It's down, coming up onto the main straight, actually. Ibert falls down to 13th place. 14th now as Adam Hennessy comes through. Ibert gets back going, but he's had a lose coming onto the main straight. Was there contact between these two cars? He's launched over the ripple strip. He's launched. Bang! Into the wall. Clout gone. No point going down pit lane in these races. It's a huge invoice to pay. Just the transit time alone. Yes, there's a fast repair waiting for you, but the transit time cruels you. So Ibert back to 14th as a result of that, into the clutches of company, including Parianastakis charging back through on his inside. Got him. Parianastakis down the inside. Ibert will hang tough around the outside. Piper wants a piece of this as well. Have a look at him. Have a look at him. Anastakis finds his way through to the front of the fight in 14th. Takes Piper with him. Poor Warren Ibert's been swamped. Uh-oh, Piper's thrown it off the road. Piper's thrown it off the road. Piper's been left behind. Oh, can you believe that? Another rear-end lock-up for a Porsche. Had to see that one coming. Round the outside. Astro Turf. Uh-oh. Oh. It was a lock-up and a turn after contact. So we pick up Ben Lavender now, sitting there in 7th place. Brett Bradbury, Joe Baldwin, Robert McGrath, Neil Gladwin for the Butler, Adam Hennessy, and Parianastakis.
Unfortunately, our big battle pack sort of spread a little bit.
So Brett Bradbury sitting there in 8th. Now, you're right, the battle pack, which was about 8 deep, has now split up and spread.
Oh, where's Brett going?
Across the racetrack. Oh, Brett's off the road. Brett's in the gravel. Brett's given up some track position. Robert McGrath now senses an opportunity to find a way past in 10th place. He'll follow Bradbury all the way down the back straight. Baldwin and Lavender just ahead. Baldwin trying to stick with Lavender. McGrath's right there. Will McGrath be close enough to make it interesting down at the hairpin? Go for the late lunge, the deep dive? No, unable to do so. Up onto the main straight. Brett Bradbury in 9th place. So we're on lap 9 now, 3 laps from home. Bernays has gone on with it at the front, up to 1.64 the margin now. Yeah, not too many battles, active battles left on the racetrack here. It's just a case of going through the motions. Two rounds to go, of course. We've got a 60-minute race next week for you, ladies and gentlemen. I won't be here for that one. I'm not sure who's going to be drafted into the commentary box for that, but of course that's at the Hockenheim Ring, and then there's a half a chance of rain the following weekend when we get to Spa for 90 minutes on the last Monday of March. Looking forward to it immensely. So yes, we are just 2 weeks away from grand final night. on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. It'll be a slightly later start to our GT3 race that night, as per usual, because of the extension to the supercars, but well worth sticking around for. Piper, 18th, having corrected himself there a short while ago. 19th is Tristan Kosh. 20th is Brian Bullock, then Greg Padgett. Back to Adam Hennessy in 13th. Under serious pressure here because Parry Anastakis has just ranged up on the inside to go to 13th, and Hennessy back to 14th. Back to Warren Ibert in 15th now. Ibert under pressure from Fodiatis. So both Anastakis and Fodiatis on the comeback trail here, trying to redeem themselves after towing the pit lane before the start. Bernays, Schmidtke, Wood and Francone. Here comes Fodiatis to 15th, as Ibert slips back to 16th. And Fodiatis goes through. But both of them are still going to be chasing their tail at the end here, Adam, because it's only an invert top 10. And at the moment, Robert McGrath and Neil Gladwin are fighting over 10th. So one of them's going to miss out, most likely.
It's always interesting when you get a battle between 10th and 11th in a reverse grid race situation. So I'm sure Neil will be on the, will know what's up here and know that this position is very important for the next race. And conversely, Robert will also know that he needs to defend this position for another 1.5 laps, like his life depends on it.
Indeed. First in the invert race at stake here, or 11th. Take your pick. Do you want to be in the fight at the pointy end of town? Do you want to be boxed in traffic? If you're Robert McGrath, you're clinging to this one as though your life depends on it. Bernays, Schmidtke, Wooden, Francone, Chiplin, and Williams, the top 6. Lavender, Baldwin, Bradbury, McGrath, and Gladwin. And we are watching McGrath and Gladwin. It's the closest fight on the racetrack. McGrath, no! He's brought to the inside!
No, I wonder if he's going to slow down, because the first right-hander through that bus stop section, the line is to cut as much of it as you can, because they're very generous with off-tracks here. But if you do cut it too much, it's straight away a slowdown. So it's very, very risky at that corner, right in front of the wall.
All of a sudden, with the white flag in the air, ladies and gentlemen, Robert McGrath is on the back foot, and Neil Gladwin is the lucky beneficiary here. He's brought himself a little bit of luck.
It could be Robert McGrath may not want to start on pole position. Maybe he would prefer to not have that pressure of everyone coming at him in the next race. So it may have been strategic. We'll have to find out from him after the race.
Indeed, we will. It'll be interesting to see which it was. Because really, to be fair, I would have thought clear real estate would be a good thing, especially in an invert situation. But everybody has their own sort of, feelings and views on that.
Bernays is just giving these guys PTSD. It's another dark grey and yellow car out in the front of the field.
Yes. Bernays has controlled this race nicely since he found his way by Matt Schmidtke. And Schmidtke's clawed a little bit of ground back, but not enough to be there within the fight. He's having a late lunge, but Bernays is doing everything he needs to do to keep him at bay. The next 2 corners are key. Schmidtke's run onto the back straight, so important here. 10th and 9th at stake for the grid for the second race here, but the points for a victory in race 1 of round 8 of Waste Options GT3 and Monday Night Motorsport firmly still up for grabs. Bernays and Schmidtke, Ferrari v Lambo on the run to the final few corners. Schmidtke went with the late lunge, but wasn't close enough to make a move on the inside. Bernays just has to get it out of the right-hander cleanly. Oh, have a look at this. Schmidtke trying for the up and under. Can he get there on the inside? Late lunge? No! Bernays wins by 0.19 of a second. Jeez. Bernays had it under control. Schmidtke's finish was strong. He came home with a wet sail. Posted the fastest lap of the race, 1:58.547. But not enough to deny David Bernays' glory. And a race win at the MotorLand Aragón circuit. Magnificent. Magnificent stuff.
Oh, we missed that somewhere. Philip Butler's lost his nose at some point during that race.
Yep, Philip Butler's dropped out of the top 10 in 12th. Robert McGrath missed out on Neil Gladwin, so Gladwin gets the invert pole, and McGrath does not. Joe Baldwin stopped on by to have a chat to us here. Aragón's not so bad.
Here we go. Is he done here?
Philip Butler.
Oh, that is a weird one.
Umco, bang. See you later.
That is a weird one. He's got very unlucky there.
Trucker, we're about to obviously head over and cover the pro split second race, but quickly, up 7 spots for you. The biggest mover of the race was Robert McGrath, up 8. All in all, a solid run for you, and Aragón's not so bad after all.
Yes, it is. I'm just starting to learn it a little bit. No, it's. I guess the more and more laps that I put in here, the less and less I despise the place. I actually got a bit of a flow and a rhythm going that race, which which kind of helped. I think the Porsche Cup car is a real difficult car to try and learn a new circuit on, especially one like this. So it's the first time I've run the GT3 around here, and it kind of made sense. Whereas in the Porsche, it made me very frustrated. So it's good to actually get a decent lap or two in then and get a good result. Had a couple of good dices through with a couple of the guys there, which was nice. So unfortunately, Phil Butler he had a spin there at the end, and Trent Naylor, I had a good race with him there for a lap or two. But no, it was a good result in the end.
Indeed it was, mate. Hey, good luck in race 2, and please keep us posted. And we're looking forward to seeing how far Mr. Anastakis and Mr. Fodiatis can work their way back through the field after towing to pit lane on the warm-up lap of race 1 and not getting back into the top 10 as a result.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly what happened to both of them too.
What happened to Nick? Because I know what happened to Parry.
Nick did not update his fuel after having qualifying fuel in. So he jumped on the grid with 4 litres of fuel, and he was the last one to get on the grid. And once all cars have gridded up, if you jump off, it sets the start process in motion here. So he was just unfortunate. He was the last one on. He jumped out, and it only gives him like 5 seconds, which just isn't enough. And Parry had to restart his wheelbase. When it jumped from qualifying through to the race server, he had a glitch in his wheelbase somehow. So dreadfully unlucky for Parry. He was he was on fire. He in qualifying, I think he was fastest between him and Schmitty, and I think he did a 58.05. I think in quali and did a 58.1. 58.05 in practice and a 58.1 in quali. So I'm sure he'll come through in this next race anyway.
I'm sure he will as well. Go well, mate, and come back and give us an update of the race results at the end, if you will, please.
Certainly will. Thank you, guys.
There he is, Joe Baldwin. Certainly sounds like he's got rid of the frog of the throat he had yesterday as well, which is a good sign of things to come. We're going to a quick break. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Monday Night Motorsport, 2 parts done, 1 part still to come. Our final sprint race of the season in GT3 Pro 4 waste options in just a few moments. The continuation of Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club for you, ladies and gentlemen, on the back of a very quick intermission. And we turn our attention very quickly from Waste Options GT3 and GT3 Pro. Same venue, same day, same round. Night 1 of week 8 of term 1 of 2024. The third last race of the season. And what a night we're in for here. Matty Dench on a one-way path, we believe, to title number 9. But he hasn't had it all his own way in some parts here. And we're looking forward to seeing what might come of the final 3 rounds of the season. Is there a sting in the tail, or are we going to tick the box and head towards the perfect 10 for Matthew Dench in term 2 of 2024. Zach Cabin and Adam Lavis with you as we continue here. We progress to 5:17 p.m. server time, mid-afternoon there. The server time says March 10. It is March 11. We know that. 22 degrees on track, 20 the ambient at the moment, 17 kilometre an hour winds, 44% humidity, and partly cloudy conditions. So the fogginess has departed, and we're just left with cloud cover. Matty Dench, 339, plays John Merritt, 276, and 253, Richard Mitchum, 238, Jared Knight, 222, Ash Collins. That battle for third still well and truly alive in this championship fight. Only 31 points covering the 3 of them. Thomas Martin in a fight with Jonathan Hooper and Paul Rogers for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Chuk Fung Wong and Aidan Luthwaite, 9th and 10th. Aidan's been somewhat of a revelation in this championship. No doubt about that. A name to keep an eye on as he's been bumped up into the top split in recent times. Zach Christie alerted us to a new livery. We'll keep an eye out on that tonight as well. BMW, Porsche, Ferrari, all represented in the top 10 there. Heavily in favour of BMW 6 to Porsche's 2 and Ferrari's 2 as well. The results from qualifying and race 1 for you. Qualifying, Simon Nicholson. Hey, nice to see Nico back. Very nice to see Nico back, and in the winner's circle as well. We'll get to that in a moment. Nicholson on top from Matty Dench. Ben Woods, Richard Mitchum, Dylan Shepherd, Stuart Ellis, Jared Knight, Chuk Fung Wong, and John Merritt, with Jake Jackson making up the top 10 in qualifying. The pole time of 1 minute 56.658. The race 1 results for you. In a 24-car field, Simon Nicholson converting pole to victory over Denchi. So, I mean, again, Denchi's main opponent here is the likes of John Merritt and Richard Mitchum. He's not worried about that because he's got them. He's not worried about Nicholson beating him because he's got Mitchum and Merritt both ticked off. They're covered off nicely. 3rd for Mitchum and 7th for Merritt, in between Shepherd, Woods and Knight. Fung Wong and Foster behind Merritt, with Paul Wood rounding up the top 10, which brings us to the grid for this race, if you don't mind, which it should be 19 laps long. I think I'm right in saying 37 minutes. Might be 18 with the pit lane transit. I'm not sure. It should be 19 though. Paul Wood and Thomas Foster, the front row. Chuk Fung Wong, John Merritt, the 2nd. Jared Knight, Ben Woods, the 3rd. Dylan Shepherd, Richard Mitchum, the 4th. Matty Dench and Simon Nicholson, the 5th. We've got to move here because the cars are on their way. Liam Reston, Michael Woods, Jonathan Hooper, Stuart Ellis, Sean Benici, Zach Christie, Jake Jackson, Greg Heaney, David Christensen, Ash Collins make up the field. Braden O'Loughlin, Dale Sharp are out there as well. No Reece Dickerson, no Sean Benici, no Craig Mason on this grid. 3 non-starters, just the 21. We're looking forward to seeing how this might play out. So, BMW is represented, Ferrari, Porsche, all represented, so too Mercedes and Audi. No Lambos out there in this field. So for a start, can Dench and Nicholson work their way through from the 5th row of the grid here? We shall wait and see. Time will tell. We're not expecting any safety cars here. We are expecting this to be a flat-out 37-minute drag to the line. Paul Wood brings the field to green. He's got Thomas Foster alongside him. And Woodsy's decided to hit the gas and get going early. Race 2 of round 8 underway. Dench and Nicholson take off. Nico running the Porsche tonight. It's important to note. His teammate committed to the BMW for the season. And it's serving him well thus far. And what works well for the blokes here as well, Adam Lavis, if you can stay nice and bunched up, although Paul Wood's already... big send. Big send. Ben Woods shuffled out of it. Zach Christie, Richard Mitchum trying to go around. Dylan Shepherd and Richard Mitchum, I should say, trying to go around. That was a big bump and draft by Dylan Shepherd to get through. Poor boy. Mitchum in new colours in the Twitchy Foot car there. That's a very nice livery that they've got there. Is that new for those guys? Oh, Ben Woods has gone round. Ben Woods has gone round.
It's past 3 or so rounds. They've added the blue in.
Yeah, copy that. Copy that indeed. Just caught me off guard there that it looks very similar to the Greg Heaney stable, which is more predominantly blue than yellow, and that one's more predominantly yellow than blue. But yes, can be very off-putting in the early stages. Paul Wood, John Merritt. So the point I was about to make before Woods went round was that Paul Wood's taken off. Paul Wood has taken off. John Merritt's trying to reel him back in. Took Fung Wong, Thomas Foster, Jared Knight in close pursuit, then Dylan Shepherd, Richard Mitchell, Matthew Dench, Simon Nicholson, Liam Reston now up at a 10th place. Now what's interesting here is the long drag race, the draft down the back straight here, brings me to the point. For the likes of Dench and Nicholson, how important is track position here? Whoa, Stuart Ellis fighting with Liam Reston very vigorously for real estate there. Reston to the inside, Ellis to the outside. The up and under for Ellis, not going to work this time by. Main straight, one down. It's 18 laps, not 19. We've got 2 minutes done. We've got 17 laps to go. We've got Stuart Ellis all over the back of Liam Reston here on the run to turn one. Can't get it done. Point I was going to make with you, Adam Lavis, it's not like this is a circuit where overtaking opportunities are numbered.
There are a few. There's a few. It's just about, but this is one of those flowing tracks. So you've got to actually put the pressure on your opponent, try and get them to make a slight mistake and get a good run.
Wood, Merritt, Fung Wong, Knight and Foster. We saw plenty of overtaking in the opening GT3 AM race. We'll see plenty here in GT3 Pro, I'm sure. The invert situation creates that. It forces that, almost. If you want to make ground, Mitchum and Dench. Oh, trouble! Pointing the wrong way is Thomas Foster. Drama here. And what caused that, more to the point, was that Dench or Mitchum that got into the side of him, or did he do it on his own? We will wait and see. Oh dear. Denchy's up the outside. Foster's gone all on his own and balked and backed up Dench and Nicholson and co. Oh, what drama. And he had a sympathetic spin there in the form of, I didn't pick up who it was, I must apologise. Stuart Ellis round. That's live. Stuart Ellis has gone around. Another loss, another spin for him. Zach Christie down in 20th place after the opening lap. Ben Woods on the tow rope. Remember, pro split, no fast repair. Nice bit of driving there from Jonathan Hooper. Apologies, folks. Occasionally got to lubricate the tonsils so that we can keep going here. 3 of 18. And Paul Wood under real pressure now from John Merritt. So it's taken these guys a while to reel Woodsy back in because he really just took off at the start and bolted. No one saw him coming or going. John Merritt up 2 spots. Dylan Shepherd, Richard Mitchell, Matthew Dench, Simon Nicholson, Liam Reston all up 2 spots. Merritt to the lead on the inside of Paul Wood. First time that Woodsy's lost the lead in this race since starting from pole. Chuk Fung Wong remains where he started in 3rd. David Christensen, the big mover, up 8 spots already from 19th to 11th. There he is on screen. Dale Sharp, of course, his teammate in 13th. The Aussie race is stable. Going nicely at the moment.
Woods is just pushing a little bit harder. He's just rushing his entries a little bit, and he's giving these guys a bit of run on him. So that's what I was saying before. If you put the pressure on, get the guy to rush the entry, you know, sacrifice his exit. And if you get your good exit, that gives you a chance in the next corner because of these long straights.
Yeah. Absolutely. John Merritt, Paul Wood, 1 and 2. We're watching Wood under real pressure here from Chuk Fung Wong to the end of the back straight. It's not like they've lost John Merritt just yet. Merritt's not pulling away and leaving them in the rearview mirror. They are still within striking distance, but it won't take long for Hot Lap to find some clear air, and he needs to, because he's got 157.769's a real good way of going about it too. Matty Dench 156.6. That is his problem. That is his problem. Stephen Banks reckons he's got commentator's curse. Everyone's got that in this club, mate. Although that being said, it's not as contagious when Grant Gill's not around, and we say hello to Grant. We hope he's enjoying himself. He seems to put the blocker on just about everyone, all and sundry, no favouritism. But Matt Dench, 156.612. And that's the problem, isn't it? When you got Dench coming through with a little bit of the red mist having descended and knowing that he's got a job at hand here, a job to do. When John Merritt's buying clear air this early in the piece, Merritt's got to make with that as best he possibly can. He's got to really capitalise here and build a gap that's going to be good enough to keep Dench out of it. So Merritt will want to go on with this, and Dench will just be trying to consolidate as best he can. He's got Richard Mitchum right in front of him, and then they've got a 1.1 second deficit to Dylan Shepherd that they've got to try and reel in as well. Zach Christie. Now, another special livery tonight. I need to have a better look at it to be able to tell you what it is, ladies and gentlemen. But it's a very nice white tonight as opposed to last week's yellow and green. There goes Ben Woods around the wrong way. Tom Foster round the wrong way now as well. That was an earlier incident on replay. So Ben Wood's out of business. Benici, Dickerson and Mason didn't start. Christie's still the rear of the field. Foster's dropped 14 spots from where he started to 16th right now. And, oh dear, Stuart Ellis, another lose.
No, that was one before. So he rejoins, he loses it again. This is where we caught him, and he lost it again on the rejoin.
Oh, so it is 2 losers, but 1 corner. Yep. 2 separate incidents.
Annoying. I always go with the...
about 15 metres apart.
Replay stings are annoying me. They work at the start, and then they stop working. Again, Dylan Shepherd, big send, double shoot for price of 1.
Dylan Shepherd climbs through on the inside, gets by Chuk Fung Wong, goes after Paul Wood. Wanted 2, got 1. Well, at least he got 1. He's made a little bit of progress, I guess. 14 laps to go. Merritt leads. He's not taking long to build that up, has he? 2.4 seconds to Wood. All of a sudden, John was within reach, and now he's very much out of reach. Out of sight, out of mind, gone. No longer within the grasp of anybody. No reeling that one back in, I wouldn't imagine. Back straight again. Yeah, that's a fair question. Some of these blokes are just naturally gifted in that regard. Some of these blokes just have that knack to rock up and hit the ground running as though it's second nature to walking. Down the inside goes Shepherd right now to second. Very nicely done. Up 5 spots on where he started. He started 7th in this race, which means he was 4th across the line in race 1. He's on track for a podium here if he can keep this up. It's a good start.
Those 2 black and gold cars are lurking in the background now.
Indeed they are. They are 6th and 7th respectively. They are on this train. They are on this train. But by no means are they in a comfortable position at the moment. They'll save a little bit of fuel where they're at, but John Merritt's just disappearing. Merritt is gone. That being said, from a selfish standpoint, I'm happy if Merritt stays there and Dench follows him home, only because it means that, you know, now that we're looking at drop rounds and the like, John's going to be right in this championship fight going into the final round. Dench is still going to be favourite to win it, of course, but Merritt's actually going to force him to turn up on the 25th of March for the grand finale. There have been instances in the last 8 championship campaigns where that has not been required. Dentji's presence on grand final night, he just turns up for icing.
There's still 13 left in the pit stop left, Zach. Calm it down.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just looking at that buffer. I mean, he's got, what is it? It's 4.5 seconds already to John Merritt. I mean, if it was anybody else, I'd be agreeing with you, but this is John Merritt we're talking about. You know, it'll be interesting to see what the Echuca Toyota Pulse Tuning Ferrari can come up with here to keep the BMW brigade at bay. Have a look at them. Wood, Fung Wong, Knight, and Dench. BMW City.
Oh, that could be a penalty.
Oh, Jared Knight's gone! Has he been sent by the number 1 or not? We'll wait and see. Oh, my goodness me. Championship implications. Left, right, and centre. And a game-changing moment as far as this race is concerned. And Jared Knight again denied the potential decent result that he was in the hunt for and in reach of. Let's have a look at... Oh, we're gonna have to have a look from the rear of Knighty's car. I think that is too close to call. I don't know if he's actually assisted Knight there at all. Has Denchi? Let's have a look. Or I tell you what, it's rough. If that is contact, it's rough. It's the smallest of rubs. Knight resting sharp onto pit lane. Here it is from the blimp. Oh, there's nothing in that. I don't think we can get a better shot. If Adam Lavis can find a better shot, he will, folks. But there's nothing in that for mine. Something seriously wrong at iRacing's end if a bump is minimal as that. And is that, if that even is a bump, is enough to send Knight around. Corey Lazarus reckons Denchi's in trouble. We've got our eyes firmly on the bottom of the screen waiting for race control to send any information through to us. Is it Hendo in there tonight?
I think it usually is for the pro guys.
Copy. Good luck, Hendo. I tell you what, the eyes of the nation on you at the moment. Waiting to see if you send that penalty through. Here he comes, down the inside, and makes light work of Paul Wood. Up to third now, Matt Dench. 4.5 seconds away from John Merritt. And a second away from Dylan Shepherd.
It's one of the things, because that's Denchi's biggest strength, is he gets that early rotation, gets in the power early. And in a train like that, it might have just caught him out a little bit. Just wasn't expecting the overspeed he had on that little bit of a group in front of him. And it's just rubbed across the back of Jared's car while it's unloaded. And just set him around.
Oh dear, what drama! It's always the sprint rounds, isn't it? Always the sprint rounds. If Denchi's going to end up coming under the scrutiny of race control, it is always the sprint rounds. Wood, Christensen, Heaney, Christie to pit line.
It's there, definitely Hendo in the box. I just heard him on the comms giving Hooper a penalty for something.
Stephen Banks. That looks pretty straightforward, to be honest, to him.
It's interesting how nice and vibrant this new take of the Twitchy-Foot livery is, even though they keep telling you blue and green should never be seen. Obviously, not always the case.
No, not always the case. I was going to say, like, in my earpiece, I didn't hear anything in terms of car-to-car contact Dench on Knight. What did you hear at your end?
There was no because it was a rub, not a bang. So he's brushed across the bumper bar. So it's more of a push than a hit.
Okay. So we are confirming there was contact.
It did look like it from the most angles I saw. Like from the rear bumper cam, and also that chopper shot at the end there. You can sort of just see it's just basically rubbed the bumper to bumper.
Yep. And I mean, that is so unfortunate for Jared Knight. It's even more unfortunate for Matt Dench, because that's not the game he usually plays. He would have only been setting himself up to push him down the back straight and have a lunge down the inside, I would have thought.
Yes, I would highly doubt Dench's like deliberately served him. It's the Denchy's strength has bit him in the butt there, as I say, because he's just so good at getting that rotation, getting that early throttle, and just that group of cars in front obviously didn't get that same launch, and he's just caught himself out by how fast he caught. He probably was expecting to catch Jared on the straight, but he's caught him on the corner exit too soon and hasn't had time to change his line.
So Braden O'Loughlin comes to pit lane. Top 10 yet to stop. Paul Wood, Jack Jackson, Jared Knight, David Christensen, Dale Sharp, Thomas Foster, Greg Heaney, Zach Christie all have. Liam Reston has parked up and is done for the night. Ben Woods may as well be, because he's not going to be classified on 75%. So now we're just waiting for everybody else to make their way in. If the earliest you can stop is lap 5, then maybe lap 14 is where we're looking at as far as that critical number is concerned. Or can anyone stretch it to 15? Hello, Matt Dench. Now, is there a penalty coming his way? We'll find out. John Merritt leads, Dylan Shepherd, Matty Dench, Simon Nicholson, Chook Fung Wong, and then Richard Mitchum. Now, what that incident has done is really split, divided, and conquered everybody. It is Fung Wong fending off Mitchum at the moment. There they are on screen. Nicholson and Dench have pushed along up the road, but Dylan Shepherd's kept them at bay. A second to the good. Dylan Shepherd's still on Dench and Nicholson. And John Merritt's got 2.6 on Dylan Shepherd. So right there, actually, Merritt's got 2.7 on Shepherd, but it's now only 3.8 on Dench. Important to note. Thomas Foster looping it once more. BMW imitating Porsche all of a sudden. Interesting. Richard Mitchum to pit lane. This is a critical stop in the greater scheme of things. 9 of 18, 10 of 18 now here at MotorLand Aragón. Next week, Hockenheim. The week after, Spa. Real European flavour to these final rounds of the championship. Spain, Germany, Belgium. We've, of course, already had one 90-minute race around the famous mountain west of Lithgow, east of Orange. And it's important to note as well that all eyes will once again be on that part of the world come Easter, except mine. And when we break at Easter, folks, we break until, I think it's the 15th of April, we're back on deck for Turn 2. Another 10 weeks of flat-out action coming your way then on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. I will have my outside broadcast kit with me on that occasion when I head to Sydney. I'll be with you the Monday night before the Pitch Partner Sydney 300. I'll be with you the Thursday night after, but not the Thursday night of and the Monday night after. The voice box will be seriously worse for wear after the Pitch Partner Sydney 300 in May. And I've got a wedding to go to the next day, so if the dance floor comes alive and karaoke starts, yeah, we're in some serious trouble. There's no doubt about that. What we're also in serious trouble with is you'll be in the hands of in the control of a whole new broadcast outfit on Thursday night. Daniel Correa-Sar will be here, but he'll be joined by to be confirmed, because I'll be making my way to Griffith this weekend, and I'm also out next Monday night whilst returning from Griffith.
Just have a look at that graph there, Zach. Merritt is starting to come back to these guys.
Yep, and it paints a bad picture for Dylan Shepherd as well, because look who's lurking. Look who's hounding, hovering like a cheap suit. Have a look at him. Like Clive Palmer lining up at the sausage roll part of the buffet. Magnificent. Matty Dench is there. All over the back of Dylan Shepherd. Simon Nicholson's right in this too. Porsche, BMW, Porsche. Jonathan Hooper is 11th at the moment. Round we go. Once more. Shepherd continues to keep Dench at bay. How much longer can he do this? And yes, you're right. It's only 2.2 now between Shepherd and Merritt. Merritt in the Ferrari controlling the race at the moment, but for how much longer? And who pulls the trigger first and comes to pit lane? Simon Nicholson, the fastest lap of the race, by the way. 156.968. Him and Denchi, the only ones in the 56s at the moment. It's important to note. Goodbye. Down the inside. Denchi on Shepherd. Gotcha. Shepherd yields and lets him go. Oh, hang on. No, he doesn't. Oh, contact and gone. They're both gone. Another championship defining moment here. Denchi caught up in that one. And I tell you what, that is going to be worth having a look at again on replay. Because I don't know whether they've just interlocked and slid, or whether while forcing the issue, Dylan Shepherd might have run him out of room here. Let's have a look. He got back up on the inside, forced the issue. Denchi went to turn. Oh, I tell you what. It might have been Shepherd's corner. It might just have been Shepherd's corner. Let's have a look at it again. Have a look at the exit from Shepherd. Down the inside, he's got him. But then on the exit, I don't know. I don't think Shepherd would intentionally head left. And if he has gone left on the racing line, expecting Denchi to yield, Denchi's hung there as he's right to do so. And off they go.
And once they got locked, they just
that was it.
They're both gone.
Was there any movement on the ripple strips that pushed Shepherd into Denchi? Let's have a look. We're riding on board with Denchi now. Here it is. Yeah, Shepherd's in the wall. That's point number one in the Armco. Point number two is Denchi, I think. Oh, they've just got interlocked.
Yeah, once the wheel's interlocked.
The incident is net code. That part of the incident's net code. There is something to investigate with regards to that right-hander, because I don't know. I don't know if Shepherd's allowed enough of racing room there, even though he is the overtaking car.
And I think it's also if Denchi's left room on the inside as well. So that's gonna be a tough one for Kevin to have a look at.
Merritt, Nicholson, Fung Wong, Delane.
And also, so Denchi did get a 5-second for the one with Jared.
He did. 5 seconds, copy. All right. It just got interesting all of a sudden. Beep FX on YouTube. Somehow that was a 2X. Oh, dear. 6 laps to go, and this race has just been flipped on its bloody lid. John Merritt leads. Simon Nicholson now effective second, 1.5 the margin.
Whole bunch of just came out of the pits.
Denchi's 5 seconds down the road now. 6.7 off Merritt, but then has another 5-second invoice on that, pending any further punishment from race control for whatever they come up with as a way of adjudicating the incident between him and Dylan Shepherd.
So we've got a cleansed field with 5 laps to go. A nice run to the line here.
Sean Benici, hang on. Firstly, okay, Corey Lazarus, unfortunate but a very common accident. Yeah, that's fair. Correct.
Oh, apparently we've had 100 messages in chat today. Good on you, crew, for watching and being a part of the show.
Well, main contributors being Graham Stewart and Chris Stark, clubhouse leaders, I'd say at the moment. Well done, boys.
It's
in saying that,
little achievement it gives us first stream.
Yes, exactly. In saying that, it was. It's also an interesting point above that. I missed the comment. I can't go back to it now. The comment above Corey Lazarus is there, and I've lost the thread, so I can't go back to it.
Was it Benici's?
Yeah, actually, yeah, no, thank you. Sean Benici.
Yeah, surprised.
What the bloody hell is he doing?
He's surprised they saved that as well as they did.
Yeah, no, but what the bloody hell is he doing in here commenting when I thought he was on the racetrack earlier, wasn't he? No, he didn't start this one. So I think the first question is, what happened to him in race 1? Why is he not on the grid? But nice of him to stick around and tune into the broadcast. My ears pricked as soon as I saw the name. I was like, hang on, what's going on here? And I remember, non-starter on this grid in this race. But the question is why? We didn't see race 1 for you, mate, so let us know. So Simon Nicholson now in a one-on-one fight with John Merritt with 5 laps to run. And we're going to run about 45 seconds short of time. We're going to run short of the 37-minute marker. Just for the benefit of those tuning in. Okay. He's left for reasons that he won't say.
It's reasons. He's left for reasons. No,
yes.
So that was Lachlan Thomas, who was just a follower. Then for some reason the text didn't show up. I don't know what's going on here.
Copy. Okay. The wonders of technology. It's been an interesting night here. There's no doubt about that. Thank you, Sean, for letting us know, mate. Appreciate that. Interesting, yeah. It's Merritt v Nicholson. They came across the line with about 10 1/4 minutes on the clock. It's sub 2 minutes around here, so they will finish short of that 37 minutes, but they're racing to laps tonight, not time. So make a note of that. 14 of 18 here. At MotorLand Aragón.
Chuck's gone wide. And Chuck's gone wide.
Long opens the door.
And that would be he's gone wide enough to probably get a slow down there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this part of the track, that's no good because this is all fast flowing spots, so it's hard to clear that. Especially, you definitely want to clear it before the big back straight here. Well, Merritt and Nicholson's pit stops were exactly the same length, 9.53 seconds. So they've put the exact same amount of fuel in. So now it's a matter of whether they've got enough fuel to get to the end, depending on how much they've used in that first stint and the second stint.
Exactly. It's not like they've got the safety car to help them tonight in that regard.
Denchi, of course, took a second less fuel.
Yep. Slowdowns in that section are brutal. From Sean Benici, he's right. Dale Sharp to the inside. Back in familiar territory tonight after running yesterday in the Erk. He's back in his beloved BMW. Across the start-finish line, he goes up into 13th place past Braden O'Loughlin. Hope you're enjoying it. Monday Night Motorsport platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And Hot Lap continues to lead it, but Nicholson's looming large here. We've got Christensen, Ellis ahead of this trio at the moment. It's about to be 4 with Greg Heaney latching on. It's Sharp, O'Loughlin, Edwards, and Heaney. Edwards was the car in question. Remember I said there was a red car that went off that I couldn't pick up? It was Michael Edwards, I'm pretty certain now. Having just seen that car.
Earlier on in the reverse corkscrew, yeah.
So it's nice to see that he's slowly but
hold
surely
on,
trying to redeem it. Oh, jeez. You don't want to throw it away at this point of the race.
Yeah, there's a few Twinkies around here, and they really launch these cars, these low suspension, flat-bottom GT3 cars.
Liam Reston out of the race, Ben Woods out of the race, everybody else soldiering on, everybody else still on the lead lap. Thomas Foster, the last of those, down 17 on where he started in 19th place. And yes, you are indeed, Sean, well played. And there is Jared Knight for the HTS Racing Stable. In 8th after that incident with Matt Dench. It's not going to be enough. That 5-second invoice for Dench is not going to help Jared Knight. But it will help Richard Mitchum. It won't help Dylan Shepherd even. Although that incident, I think, is still under investigation. We haven't seen any notification come up about adjudication from race control. We'll wait and see. Down the inside, Edwards. Got him. Oh no, Lachlan, well played. And Heaney just minding his own business behind them at the moment. Across the line again. We start lap 16. It's John Merritt on the run home. Stuart Ellis now to pit lane. This is his second stop. So Stuart Ellis to pit lane in the Ferrari. It is... Have a look at this. I mean, Ferrari obviously well represented in the other split. But here, it's Merritt, it's Ellis, and that's it. So Merritt's in the top 10 for Ferrari. There are 5 BMWs and 4 Porsches in the top 10. Porsches are 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 9th. And BMWs are 3rd, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 10th. Just the one Ferrari in the top 10. Flying the flag for the prancing horse in distinct red and yellow is John Merritt. With the Toyota badge proudly showing on the front of the car as well. This is great stuff. Waste Options GT3 Pro at Sunset in Aragon in Spain. Nicholson, deep. Under brakes, forcing the issue on the outside. Then the switchback. Have a look at this. Nicholson with a big run, a big surge. Up onto the main straight, a big charge. Ultimate pressure being applied here. Merritt holding on grimly for the moment. Down the inside, Nicholson got him. Well played, Simon Nicholson. Merritt fights back on the inside. Side by side we run in the fight for the lead here, and Nicholson around the outside. Can he hold it? Have a look at this. On the inside for the left-hander. Now it's still there. Now yields. Simon Nicholson takes the lead in extraordinary fashion. Oh, magnificent clean fight between both men. Phenomenal driving. Class with a capital C. Nicholson prevails in a one-on-one fight.
Take 2.
Now, same again. Wash, rinse, repeat, but this time it's BMW and Porsche. Edwards and Christensen.
No,
Sorry, Edwards
Sharpie.
and Sharp, my apologies. Edwards and Sharp. I'm getting my Aussie races mixed up. And Edwards prevails for the moment. So we're back at that 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th juncture. Heaney and O'Loughlin watching on with the best seat in the house at the moment. Headlights ablaze for Sharp. But not for anybody else just yet.
How good does this place look in the sunset?
See, this is the thing. I've often said, you know, whilst there are still, there's a lot more in the way of realism now with the weather system, where iRacing could leverage its stance as an online platform in terms of the artificial nature of things, and we know there's still some artificial aspects here. One would be to just facilitate some light poles up around all the venues so that we could do night racing in the dark around these places that you couldn't do it in the real world, just to see what it looks like. Just as advertisement for what it would look like if people invested the time and money in putting light poles up around racetracks. I think it'd be fantastic. But yes, sunset racing for the moment, pretty, to say the very least. Simon Nicholson, John Merritt, Matt Dench, 1, 2, 3. But Dench is going to drop behind Richard Mitchum on the finishing order, pending any further penalties being issued from race control. It's Simon Nicholson with the lead. It's John Merritt second. What an out-and-out fight this has been. A great charge from Nico, and he's on track to do the double. Porsche dominating here at MotorLand Aragón in Spain. The final lap will run short of that 37-minute marker. It's the first time we'll do that this season.
Oh, I keep telling you, it's a 35-minute race. The 37 is just an overlap.
I know. I'm very well aware. I would have leveraged the overlap, but that's just me. Simon Nicholson, however, has done a brilliant job tonight, mate. You can't take anything away from him. This has been class driving. I mean, bided his time, waited for his moment, and then chased hard after John Merritt. And one of the great duels of the season thus far, he is going to prevail here as they head down to the final sequence of corners. Porsche, Ferrari, BMW at the moment, but it's going to be Porsche, Ferrari, Porsche at the end once we see Matt Dench relegated with that 5-second penalty. Main straight, checkered flag at the ready. Simon Nicholson doubles up in a cameo appearance in Waste Options GT3 Pro at MotorLand Aragón. Got the job done. John Merritt second. Dench crosses the line third. Will end up fourth with Richard Mitchum only 3.8 seconds away. Then Dylan Shepherd, Chook Fung Wong, Jared Knight, Paul Wood, Jake Jackson, and Ash Collins. We stress that these results are provisional, ladies and gentlemen. Dale Sharp's lost out to Michael Edwards, but we've got stiff competition here from Braden O'Loughlin on the run to the line. Sixth will go to Chook Fung Wong, then Jared Knight, Paul Wood, Jake Jackson, Ash Collins. And it was an important round for Jared Knight in relation to Richard Mitchum and Ash Collins. He managed to keep Collins at bay, who came up 10 spots in that race. So it hasn't been a night to remember for Ash Collins. It's been a difficult... Sharpie did well. So, yeah, it's been a night to forget for Ash Collins there. Down 10, up 10 spots in race 2, having started 20th. So I'm not sure what went wrong in race 1, but that's to the benefit of Jared Knight in terms of their positional battle in the championship here. 238 played 222 coming into the round, but Richard Mitchum disappears up the road a little bit further. John Merritt potentially makes a couple of inroads there on Matt Dench, and Simon Nicholson turns up once and goes W. And pole as well. We've got Ben Woods standing on by to have a chat to us. We've got Joe Baldwin standing on by to have a chat to us. We've got Nick Fodiatis standing on by to have a chat to us. Nick, let's start with you, and then we'll work our way around. I'm not necessarily sure that's a night to remember for you. Firstly, let's talk Long Beach. Nowhere to go, and just ploughed straight into the stalled car in front. And it didn't really get any better from there. And secondly, you left the fuel tank behind when we got there, Aragón.
Well, I mean, thank you, Zach. The Bailey Ladders car was hooked up at both Aragón and Long Beach. It's just with the Long Beach one, I did my best impression of Mark Larkham and just ran straight into a car that I had no idea hadn't moved. So that was that. And then when I went to tow, it was still under green conditions. And as soon as it went yellow, it tripled my time. So it was like a 6-minute tow. So that was the end of that. And then getting past some incident at the hairpin, I got spun into pit lane for my creep, just tiptoeing around. So yeah, thanks, really appreciate it. So I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the hell out of last week as well. So the Bailey Ladders car was actually quite a lot of fun. So in terms of Aragón here, yes, I forgot to put fuel in, and I fought back from the back of the field to, I believe, 14th. Hold on, let me double check. Yeah, 14th.
And that was just race 1. So, I mean, that was a good fight from you. Actually, talk me through two things. Firstly, you've had to, because we've decided to evict both the McLaren and the Ford, you've had to switch teams, switch manufacturers throughout the course of the week. So what did we go with and why? And then secondly, fill in the gaps for us and let us know how race 2 went while we were watching GT3 Pro.
So yeah, the old Henry didn't have windscreen wipers apparently, so I went to the Auto Union. I went to the Audi. Lovely, glorious, naturally aspirated V10. So that's been really good to drive actually. It's really quite handy, and being naturally aspirated is quite nice on the power. So my Bailey Ladders team has changed over to that, and then I went from back of the grid to 14th, so 23rd to 14th in race 1. And then I went from 14th to 4th until the last lap. I was a litre short, so I had to chug it across the line. I finished 8th.
Very nicely done. So, okay, on that note, your thoughts on Aragón as a racetrack, because it's not everybody's cup of tea, and there's still some club members that are reluctant to invest in it as yet. But obviously for you, in terms of working your way through that, back through the field, you hit all your markers on that front tonight.
Yeah, it's a track that flows, and once you get your mind around it, it's actually a really fun track. And my teammate here who took out the split, he is of the same volition as me and doesn't particularly like it, but we both actually did really well. So I think it's going to go on the like list now.
Yeah, very nice. I like the sound of that. We'll get to the great man in just a few moments. Are you enjoying this foray back into GT3, mate?
Yeah, because look, I've been bugging Adam. Should I go into top split? He goes, no, you're in second split. And I'm actually enjoying it. I'm racing people of the it's very tight. I'm racing people of the same speed, and you muck up in qualifying, and I think I did a 2-minute. And in the race, I'm doing 158s, and I'm actually racing people, and it was actually quite good. I had Arianistakis right in front of me, and I just followed him through the field, basically both races.
Well, he had a tech issue that you wouldn't normally hear about either, so at least you had company on pit road on lap 1.
Yeah, and then out of the pit stops, I actually jumped in front of him. Oh, sorry, I jumped in right behind him, so he had 5 seconds leading into the pits. Jumped right behind him, and I didn't mean to put pressure on him, but he spun out. Finished right behind me.
Adam Lavis, just while you've got that on screen, please, can you screenshot that for us, just for prosperity? And we'll get back to Nick in just a moment. Joe Baldwin, the winner by 2 seconds from Scott Wood and Tom Williams, Ben Lavender, Daniel Piper, Neil Gladwin, David Bernays, Nick Fodiatis, Parry Anastargas, and Adam Chiplin, the top 10 in race 2 of round 8 of GT3M for waste options.
We go and watch Pro Split for 25 minutes, and all of a sudden Joe loves Aragón.
Exactly. We're still trying to work that one out. We'll get the trucker in just a moment. Nick, while I've still got you, next 2 rounds, 60 minutes around Hockenheim, 90 minutes around Spa, and the threat of rain when we get to Belgium.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Funnily enough, I've been watching old Hockenheim. I miss the long straights and the car blowing up and all that kind of stuff. So I do miss the old Hockenheim. The new Hockenheim's a Mickey Mouse, Tilka track, whatever. But it provides us with a hairpin, which this particular version of Aragón did as well, which I quite enjoyed until I hit one of the turtle shells on the run up the hill. But anyway, and then Spa, like I said this to just about everybody. Since the rain's come in, the 3 tracks I've done are Mount Panorama, Spa-Francorchamps, and Suzuka. The 3 tracks have probably done more laps around than anything else. I'm trying to find out where the puddles are. It should be good as long as you stay away from white lines and curves. You're all good. Exactly, and I guess the other thing as well, to go back to your point with Hockenheim, you might not have heard this whilst we were watching the supercars earlier. The comment was made that Graham Stewart was petitioning for iRacing to come and scan the Gold Coast street circuit. But to be honest with you, that's another one that was better in its original guise than this guy's, I think. Well, I mean, that run down to the A&A Hotel and then back along the Esplanade, we missed that. So, damn trams. But anyway. Excellent. Very nicely done. Yeah, I agree with you. Way to ruin a good thing, but whatever. At the end of the day, it's only supercars. It's not as though it's anything good going around there these days. Bring back IndyCar. Thank you, Nick. Well done. Thank you. Have a great night, guys. Speaking of IndyCar, you still got a couple of weeks left of Super Formula, but now that iRacing and IndyCar are back on friendship terms, I sense that the open wheelers might be going back to their roots on a Friday night next term. Possibly. I've been talking to Joe, and I might put it to a vote. The SRX is my new favourite car at the moment. Okay. Way easier to drive than the old NASCAR, but still needs a bit of care and a light pedal, so the V8 guys will be good at it. But the brake zone's about 100 metres longer, so it's overtired. It's really grippy. Yeah. Really grippy. So I implore everybody to give it a shot. And very nicely done. Run on dirt. Just quietly. True. All right. An oval in. We'll throw a dirt oval in. Might even throw Crandon in. I don't know. Right, look at you blokes. In-house, on-air, live television planning. I like it. Well done. Nick, thank you. Better luck next week in the supercars. Right, but, of course, well done on the fight back in GT3. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. And, of course, you'll have GT4 and other things coming up later in the week. It's nice to see one of the originals here busy back in the sim rig once more after a run with some injury and other things last year. Trucker, yes, mate. You said to us after race 1 that it's still not on your favourite track list, but it must look better now that there's a win in the column. Well done. Well, it's when you can tick off a win, it certainly gets a bit of a rethink, right? It's yes.
Yeah, no, look, I had a great battle in that one. I started out at 3. I went from 15th to 8th in that first race, as you guys saw, and had a good start. Sort of got straight into second, and I think it might have been Neil Gladwin was leading for a couple of laps there. And once I got the pass with him, I'd sort of managed to set a reasonable pace and got the rhythm just carried over from race 1, and Tom Williams actually hunted me down in the Porsche, and it's weird, like the two cars, like I was in the Ferrari obviously, and he's in the Porsche, and they're strong in different parts of the circuit, and I think that if he had have actually got by me, he probably would have driven away, but I was able to sort of where you come down the hill, the switchback, and you're the big left-hander up the hill, I made a point of going out wide and crossing over in front of him, so he got into the wake of the car, and he'd understeer out off the track every time, and that'd get me 3 or 4 tenths almost every lap, and then sort of by the time we got back there, he'd catch that up again. So it was more of using, and I've sort of never had to think about it in that way, like using, the wake of the car to upset the car behind in grip limited corners to your advantage. But it worked out. Unfortunately, we had just a little touch coming onto the back straight on the last lap, and he sort of got in there and it unweighted his car and spun him. It was the lightest of touch. There was nothing in it, but so he ended up dropping a position to Scott Wooden, who picked up second, really consistent there. So certainly happy to get 2 monkeys off my back in one go in the Aragón. I've ticked a win and GT3. I think it's my first ever win in GT3 ever.
Excellent. And what a time to get it as well. At a circuit that you didn't really love until last Thursday, and you persevered with it, and perseverance pays off, it would seem.
No, that's right. And I mean, Adam was the one who taught me, go on and have a go. Yeah, it's easier than it was in the Porsche. So, the Bailey Ladders Ferrari was on rails tonight. It was actually a lot of fun. So I was slightly disappointed that we didn't get rain, but in the same breath, I got the win, so I'm not going to whinge.
No, not at all. All right, mate, give us a quick update before we let you out of here. I mean, we had the Enduro yesterday, and that was a bit of a stop-start affair for reasons beyond our control, but you got back in and got it done, which is the main thing at the end of the day, and well done to everybody involved with that. The first hour was off the chart, let's be perfectly honest.
So what's next for you? Race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fantastic. A sprint race being the operative word for an enduro. Yeah. But what's next? I mean, obviously we've got more enduros later in the season. The next one being the Sunday between the end of Term 1 and the start of Term 2, Sunday the 7th of April. Remembering we knock off Easter Friday, so Good Friday, the 29th of March, and we're back on the 15th of April. So that's the Sunday in the weekend in between those. As far as I know, you'll be on the grid when you can be throughout the course of the week. We'll see you Thursday night. But GT1 and Mountain Men still to come as well.
Yeah, we've got the old classic 2009 supercar up on the mountain this weekend. So it's a tricky car. They've sort of left it in the bottom drawer, and it hasn't had an update for a long, long time. So it's trying to find anybody who does setups for them a little bit tricky, but at the end of the day, whatever setup goes on the car is the same for everybody. And if the racing last Saturday night is anything to go by in the GT4s, we'll be on for a cracker, because we had 20 guys in that race last week. It didn't matter where we finished, everybody was happy at the end of the race. It was fantastic. It was probably one of the best nights on the mountain we've had. Indeed,
that was the case. Mate, thank you. Go and rest the vocal cords. They seem a little bit better than what they were yesterday, but it won't hurt to rest them a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely better today.
Exactly. Great to catch up with you. Well done on the W. Look forward to seeing how that contributes to A, a boost in confidence, and B, just that push towards a result at the end of the campaign with the final 2 weeks ahead of us. Go well with that. Hey, quickly, before I do let you go, on the way out, your thoughts on Hockenheim?
Love it. Yeah. No, looking forward to Hockenheim. It's one of the great tracks that's had one of the great parts cut off it when they took out the bush section, but Hockenheim, the inner section, turn 1 is just, it's seat of your pants stuff there at turn 1. It's great fun, and I mean, look, we're going to finish off at Spa. Who doesn't love a good Spa, right?
Exactly.
In
every sense of the word.
Yeah, that's right. So, certainly looking forward to Hockenheim. I think I'll probably go better at Hockenheim than I will at Spa. Spa is one of those mythical creatures for me. I guess it's a little bit like Suzuka. I've still yet to find any pace there in any vehicle, but Hockenheim's certainly one of the tracks I enjoy. So I'm looking forward to next week.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Well done to you. Congratulations on the W. And that puts a little spring in the step for the final 2 weeks of the run to the checkered flag. We'll catch up Thursday.
No worries. See you then. Thank you, guys.
Well, Daniel Correa, well, I won't. I'll see you Thursday week. But yes, you know what I mean. Our broadcast audience will hear from you on Thursday night. There he is, Trucker Joe Baldwin, El Presidente around here these days on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. John Merritt's in the house. Greg Heaney, Paul Wood, all here too. So is Zach Christie. But I want to start with Ben Woods because he's kind enough to hang around in pit lane all race and then check in with us here in Central Commentary, despite really, in the words of Kevin Bloody Wilson, the night being over before it began.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a repeat of last week, doesn't it?
What happened?
I came back this week just to see if I had a similar decent pace to last week, and I qualified within a few thousandths of Denchi and Simo, so I'm happy with that. Race 1 was all right, and then race 2, gridding up. Weird technical issue. When I grid up, I turned the ignition off in the car just to save, a little bit of fuel. Hit the ignition start when everyone, was about to start moving, and everyone disappeared. Came back. The car behind me, which was Richard Mitchum, ran into the back of me. We both got 4X, and I got massive rear damage. He got off scot-free, so just ended up sitting out race 2, exactly the same as last week. Just helping Richard manage his pace, fuel, and see where he'd pit, come out, those around him, that sort of stuff. So, getting plenty of experience as a crew chief in GSRC. And I just came to mainly talk up Richard Mitchum for his third. I don't think he's coming along. I would like to ask you a question though, Zach. How many incident points do you think Simo had when he had that great side-by-side with Merritt?
I'm going to hazard a guess and say none.
No, he had 12. He was 1 incident point off receiving a drive-through.
Oh, okay. So at the time of the duel, he'd already accumulated 12. He'd already racked up 12. He didn't get an incident point during that battle. It was more that he racked them up beforehand.
Yeah, no, he wasn't driving like someone with no instant points to spare. That's for sure.
No, he certainly wasn't. No, could have fooled me. And very unlike that stable to have any incident points whatsoever, but it was that kind of night, wasn't it? I mean, that was terrific viewing. That gets the blood pumping and the heart racing for everybody at home. When 2 of the best in the club can go side by side with that and not bang doors.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great to watch. Wish I was out there on track watching it, but here's what it is.
Exactly. You're due for some luck. There's no doubt about that. I mean, easy to see where Nico probably racked up those points along the way. I mean, there was a bit of argy-bargy and they got caught up as, checked up traffic in an incident there partway through the race. It was that kind of night. So, but for him to then trust himself to not get into the side of Merritt and put himself over the limit. I mean, that being said, though, I guess if it was Denchi, you would have had to have been a little bit more cautious and thoughtful of what was at stake in terms of the championship. It's been a horrible night for him. We probably won't see him here in the post-race show. But for Nico, cameo appearance, nothing to lose. Leave it all out there, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. Part of me was sitting there hoping he centered on Merritt, got that incident point, and then would have seen Mitchum up into second. So, But yeah, it was great racing.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Congratulations on being a good sport about it and coming in and having a chat to us post-race. You're keeping busy, obviously, from a race control and a club committee side of things. Will you persevere with this again for the next couple of weeks, or will we just see you sitting and watching on from the sideline?
I'll hopefully be back for the rest of the season now, but just have to see how my work commitments go.
Hockenheim first, then Spa. Circuits that are to your liking or not?
Hockenheim will always have a special place in my heart. My first GSRC win there. Spa in the Porsche, probably not going to be a strong suit. You might see me in the wall after a Rouge or Blachemont.
Copy that. All right, mate. Very nicely done. Well done to you. We'll leave it there. We'll wish you well for the rest of the week in terms of what you're doing on and off the track for the club, and look forward to hopefully seeing you net a good result over the next couple of weeks after a couple of weeks of perseverance.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, guys.
There he is, Ben Woods. Very nicely done. To Greg Heaney, Paul Wood, and Zach Christie. Zach, not the easiest night at the office, mate. Down in 16th, exactly where you started the second race. What went wrong? How did it go wrong? And talk us through the inspiration of the livery this week, please, because we didn't really get a proper good look at it.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest. I came in a little bit late in terms of the session because I was trying to grab this livery and put it together quickly because I was like, why not? We'll put it together. And yeah, so I came in a bit late and I just wanted to get to know the track. Took me a couple laps, but I got there in the end. A little bit slow on lap time, but towards going through the race, I got a little bit faster towards the end, which I was happy with. But the track is actually really flowing, and I really love it. It's such a nice driver's track, is what I was talking to Greg about. I like driver's tracks because it just feels so nice and flowing when you get them right. So that's what I was working towards, is just making it flowing, and then the lap times would come to me in the end. So was able to get there in the end, so happy with that. But yeah, unfortunate at the start of that second race. It is what it is. It was a racing thing. It's all about racing, I guess. Racing always happens like that. But I was happy to see myself get faster towards the end. I always try and do that as best I can. But yeah, the livery, it was more of a on-the-spot decision livery. I was saying to Greg, as we're coming in, I was like, I want to do this livery, so I got it. It's a part of their Porsche Timeless style liveries. I don't know, I think it was on the 919 hypercar that they had a couple years ago, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, so I thought, oh, why not just do another livery like that and drive it around. Might see what else there is for the end of the season. Just to bring in some nice liveries, because I like designing things. So if I can design a good livery and show it off to everyone, that's what I like to do as well as drive them.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. I mean, obviously, yeah, not the best result tonight, but still a very well presented livery. What do we do to put this one in the rearview mirror and focus on the two longer races now? And how much are you looking forward to Hockenheim and Spa and seeing what you might be able to achieve there?
Yeah, I actually really, really love Hockenheim. That's like a driver's track for me as well. I've driven it a couple times, and I reckon I'll hopefully go good there. I love that track because I normally do it with the F1 cars, we'll say. But for this, it'll be a lot more funner, definitely in the GT3, especially because we're going to be racing alongside each other a lot more, because us GT3s and especially in this class with everyone, we're all so close. So the racing is going to be really good towards the end of the season, I believe, because there's such a good track. I feel like I'm going to be up a little bit further, but we'll see how I go.
All right, mate. And as far as the team's concerned, it's been a busy weekend. The Enduro yesterday as well.
Yeah, very busy. We thought, yeah, jump in, do a bit of Enduro. On my end, didn't have the greatest race. It took me a little bit to get used to the Ferrari that I was driving, but I was able to get there in the end, as I do. It comes to me towards the end. Yeah, my lap times weren't great, but it's an Enduro. You need to be more consistent than anything. So I was just focusing on that as best I could, and go from there. But yeah, towards the end, bit of incidents here and there with some other cars and stuff like that. So yeah, it is what it is. We got back to where we wanted to as well. I think we were top 12, I think, in the end. Yeah, it is what it is. A couple incidents, but on to the next one. Focusing on that and focusing on these races. So eyes forward, as you said, and then go from there. I know the Hypercar boys did really good as well. They qualified first, I think, or second. Is that right, Greg?
Third.
Third. They qualified third, so that was pretty good.
And what are we most looking forward to with regards to the rain threat when we get to Belgium? We believe there might be a spanner in the works there. How excited are you guys for that? I guess since I don't think I've spoken to you since the rain server got uploaded last. I spoke to Greg, but I haven't spoken to you since it got uploaded last Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. What are your initial impressions of it, and what have you made of it?
I jumped in with Greg a couple of days ago just to see how it goes, especially on the day it came out. I reckon it's going to become a bit more interesting. The racing is going to be a lot more, I believe interesting. It's going to be a lot more strategy involved, as much as it is now. But it's more to the fact is, do we put wet tyres on now? Do we not put wet tyres on now? I believe, it's going to be a lot more interesting. There's going to be a lot more focusing on that. And seeing where it goes from there. So, and the driving aspect of it's going to be pretty good to see who actually comes out on top, because it is so new, and see who can actually come over it and overcome it better than other people. Because we're definitely good at driving on dry track, as you can see, but when it comes to rain, some of the slower guys could be faster than the faster guys. So who knows?
Indeed, it's going to be a great equaliser. There's no doubt about that. And much like driver of the races and BOP updates and all those other exciting elements, different conditions might bring different manufacturers into it, not just different drivers as well. Cannot wait to see how it shakes things up.
Absolutely.
Once it is finally a regular component of everything we do here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Zach Christie, thank you.
Awesome, mate. Thank you for having us on again. Thank you for
always
bringing me in here. Thanks for putting on the race, especially yesterday, because you also got pulled in quite late yesterday, I believe, for that. So you're doing a great job, Zach, so thank you for that.
Thank you, mate. I didn't get brought in late. It was just that Banksy wasn't available, and I don't normally do Sundays. And I said to them, I said, I'm more than happy to do it. And then all of a sudden I had a mate throw a ticket to the NRL at me, and I was like, oh, now I can only half commit. So we got through it in the end. I was able to make the best of both worlds, if you know what I mean. So I might be able to do another enduro towards the back end of the year once the footy season wraps up here locally. But now, once that gets underway after Easter, most of my Sundays are full, which is unfortunate. Good on you, mate. Well done. That first hour yesterday was very entertaining. If you didn't, it was. Go back and have another look at it, folks. It was terrific stuff.
Sure. I'm going to throw in a good old plug again. Tagged in if you needs to get into sim racing. Come see us or Player One Sim Gear, so you can come in and join in of the fun here. So we're having a bit of fun, as you can see, with the Enduros and these races. So if you want to get into it, come over and see us, and we can do what we can do for you.
All right. Very nicely done, mate. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Adam.
And hope business is going well as well.
Always.
Let's go to your teammate Greg Heaney now, 25 past 10 Eastern Daylight Time. Post-race show, Monday Night Motorsport. Don't want to spend too much time dwelling here because everyone's busy. I've got an early start tomorrow morning for an 8-hour drive to Cessnock, but I want to chat to these three blokes. We'll hear from Paul Wood in a moment, who was right in the thick of it early in the piece, finished 8th. We'll hear from John Merritt, who was 2nd across the line. But right now, Greg Heaney, 15th across the line tonight, mate. +3 on where you started. Tough night at the office in the Audi.
Yeah, very much so. I do like the track. It's just for me, I find it hard to find a good rhythm here. And it's very easy to go off track. Being that you can use as much of the outside of the white line as you pointed out last Thursday. It's like flirting with track limits around the entire course.
It's taking the piss. It really is. Yeah.
Well, now that it's almost 10:30, you could probably actually get away with saying that. But yeah, no, not disappointed terribly this week. I'm happy to make the end an improvement on where I've started. So, look, it is what it is. We'll move on. But, yeah, it would have been nice to have at least a little sprinkling of rain at some point. But
it would have been, but maybe next time, as they say in the classics. Jared Knight, I'll stay away from the 40mm Powerball this week if that's my luck. Thanks for letting me know it's 40mm, mate. I might go and buy a ticket. Although that being said, my luck's as good as yours. So I'm not sure how we're going to go there. In saying that, I mean, the Audi, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, we saw an Audi at the forefront early in the piece of the GT3 fight in yesterday's race at the Glen. But they're few and far between in this field. You were the one of only 2 Audis in GT3 Pro tonight, mate. How are you finding persevering with this one? Are you looking forward to a manufacturer change at the end of the season? Where are we at?
Honestly, I'm actually enjoying the Audi. It's not as Porsche as a Porsche, so it's not going to kill me as often as I'm probably likely to experience in a Porsche. No, I'm enjoying it. It's just a matter of being able to get the back end settled. But yeah, I seem to have it sorted out at the moment. I mean, 8 races in, we definitely got it squared away well enough. So.
Indeed. And as far as the rest of the stable's concerned, we've already heard from Zach Christie, but I mean, where are we at? Are we happy with how the stable's performing as a whole? What are you looking to build on and improve upon in the weeks ahead, mate?
No, look, I'm happy with the way that where everybody's going. Fred couldn't make it tonight. Aiden and Jackson couldn't make it either. They had other commitments. But and same with Ryan Mulder as well. But no, look, for everybody that's showing up, very happy with the way everybody's performing. As Zach mentioned, and as you would have seen yesterday, we had 2 cars in the Enduro yesterday. Aiden put us on P3 and the GTPs at one point. I think it was on the restart server. We actually ended up in P1 for a chunk of time. Yeah, thanks, Jared. I might send that one to Porsche. We'll send it to Audi. I might actually be able to get away with it.
That's it. Keep going, mate. You're right.
Getting there. But yeah, didn't finish terribly well in the GTPs yesterday. But yeah, well done to the boys in the GT3, managing to get through to the end. So.
And as far as, I was going to say that Enduro, we did see Fred Kahn have a little bit of a moment partway through the opening hour, but then obviously what happened, and we ended up with a 3-hour race, not a 4, but that brought a few people a second chance. But onwards and upwards for the next round of the endurance campaign, mate. You guys, when you look at that calendar, geez, there's some good tracks and some good race lengths ahead of us there. I mean, the iconic race tracks, but also a couple of newbies to the Enduro format too.
Oh yeah, most definitely. The one that I think that's going to be very interesting, and I'm hoping that Josh has got his pen ready, is going to be Motorsport, because I reckon that's going to be rather hectic, especially if you add weather into the mix.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's the whole reason, as we saw yesterday, Ford and McLaren have been phased out there from the start, and they've been phased out now from here until such time as iRacing updates them specifically with weather sort of format and tyre. And that reinvents the wheel again, because we've had a couple of people implicated by that already. Not too many people love the Ford or the McLaren at the moment, but Nick Fodiatis had to change gears, change teams and cars tonight. In saying that, as far as next week's concerned, sprint racing is always a double-edged sword because of the invert, because of the hustle and bustle, the ripped hair, rush, bust. Hockenheim and Spa to finish it off. What are your thoughts on Hockenheim specifically, mate?
I'm looking forward to it. Not one of my favourite tracks, but I do enjoy driving the track, so it's not too bad. More looking forward to Spa. Did some laps around that today to get my eye in with a bit of wet weather driving, and yeah, I've kind of got it. Woodsy stuck his head in momentarily and had a jab, so because myself and who else was it? Geez, I've gone blank. one of the other guys from GSRC jumped in, and we were just driving around, and it's slippery. Put it that way.
Indeed, that is the case. And we're looking forward to seeing what might unfold when we get there. Obviously, Hockenheim is one of those circuits that'll either produce a real belter or a real snore. We'll wait and see whether it's the former or the latter this time next week. Hey, mate, well done. Good luck for the rest of the campaign. I won't see you next week, but I'll see you for the grand finale at Spa in a couple of weeks' time. And good luck with everything else that's going on between time, and no doubt a little bit more weather testing as well.
No worries. Thank you very much.
There he is, Greg Heaney. Paul Wood, let's talk to you very quickly before we go to Hot Lap, the aptly named Hot Lap. 8th tonight in that second race, 7 down on where you started, which of course was P1, so 10th in race 1, 8th in race 2. A solid night at the office for the Bimmer. BMW heavy top 10, mate, and really hard, fierce racing in that second one.
Yeah, the Bailey Ladders BMW was still a little bit of a handful for me tonight, but not too bad. It is improving. I'll slowly come to terms with it, but yeah, that race was hectic. I actually didn't want to get 10th spot in the first race, but Liam had to go and run out of fuel just before the start-finish line, so I got pole for the second one, and I was sitting there thinking this is not going to go well because I knew the guys that were sitting behind me, and I thanked them for allowing me to stay in first for as long as I did, but yeah, they're just way too fast. So I got to the point where I could put my fuel in and just jumped out of the way, let them do their battle, so I could just come out and drive my race a little bit more without worrying too much about being attacked from behind, and trying to keep my tyres underneath me, because I was pushing very hard to try and keep in front of those guys, and it was just wearing my tyres. So overall, not too bad. Would have been nice to have got a little bit higher up. I overfueled by about 5 or 6 litres, which I think would have saved me a couple of seconds in the pit stop, but crew chief led me up the garden path this evening, but overall, yeah, not too bad. And yeah, surprised to come into the top 10. I didn't think it was going to happen with my practice prior to the race, but yeah, it was a hard-fought race.
Don't you bloody well love a stitch up from the old crew chief, eh? Still, to this day.
Yeah, he's normally pretty good for me. He's usually spot on, but for tonight, he was telling me way off, and the other guys were going, oh, we're not putting that much in, but I'm thinking, nah, I'm going to put my faith in him. He hasn't led me astray, so yeah, did it and got over the line, and I still had like 2 laps of fuel left in the car, and I'm like, well, that was way too much. So it's possible I could have been maybe one more position up the road, possibly, if I didn't have that extra fuel, but we'll never know, but I'll take it, and yeah, on to next week and see if I can keep the car going as smooth as it has the last 2 weeks.
Very nicely done, mate. And obviously Hockenheim, and also the Spa-Francorchamps round to come. We know your style of racing, Woodsy. You do like to make inroads once the race gets underway. Makes it hard when you start at the front, because usually the only way is backwards. But over 60 minutes at Hockenheim, what do you reckon is achievable, mate?
Look, it comes down to the same as what happened tonight. I knew in the beginning of the race I tried to get as far out in front, because the tyres seemed to be lasting about 4 to 5 laps before they really started to give me grief. So I knew I had to get as much there. So I think Hockenheim's going to be very much the same. There's some long corners that if I can't get the nose of the car in there, it's going to really scrub the tyres. So I'll continue to work on that for next week, but that'll probably be the letdown. Other than that, it should be a good race. As you know, the longer races play into my hands because I'm not the fastest, but I just try to go for consistency overall, and that's what gets me ground during the races. So these sprint ones aren't my cup of tea necessarily, but yeah, as usual, I just go out, do the best I can. So we'll see if I can improve next week, because I think it's back to the hour race, I think, isn't it?
Hour race next week, 90 the week after. Yep, absolutely.
Well, we'll see what results we can get with those. Looking forward to the 91. It's always a fun race. It brings up a little bit more because there's a bit more endurance comes into it over just a straight out sprint.
I haven't really dwelled on this with too many people, but Aragón, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Where do you sit with it? Do you like it as a race track, or are you happy to have it over and done with?
Oh, look, it's a hard track to race on, but I enjoy the track. I find it a fun track. If you've got a car that is handling pretty good, if it's a car that you're struggling with, it's just non-stop hard work from start to finish. But I enjoyed that tonight. It is a good flying track, and the car was manageable for me. I liked a little more pace, but yeah, overall, the couple of races I've done here, I have to admit I have enjoyed. But yeah, I suppose open wheelers would be the best here, I think, just that little extra downforce. But yeah, so far, so good for me.
Indeed. All right, mate. Well done. Good night for the Bailey Ladder stable and the Aussie Racers stable at large there. Joe, of course, getting the win in GT3. And well done to you on the 2 top 10 finishes tonight, and all the best for the rest of the week.
No worries. Thanks, guys. I'll speak to you later.
There he is, Paul Wood. John Merritt, thanks for hanging in there and waiting to have a chat to us, mate. We do appreciate that. Congratulations. 7th in race 1, 2nd in race 2. 7th, of course, gave you 4th on the grid. You ended up jumping up 2 spots. Led it for a long time, though, hot lap. What about the hustle and bustle and the exhilarating side-by-side action there with Simon for the lead late in the piece?
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Mate, I wish I knew he was on 12 incident points, but no, that was it was a sensational battle. No, I really enjoyed it. I just I had nothing left grip wise. So the Ferrari's good, but very much struggles at some of the power down points versus the Porsche.
Indeed. So talk to me about that, because you were a one-man band with Ferrari at the top end of town. Stuart Ellis was the other one. It would seem as though the Porsches and the Bimmers had the advantage tonight.
Yeah, I think. To be fair, I only arrived back in Echuca around 7, and I hadn't done any laps, so I didn't have a setup, Zach. So, I mean, you can probably make the car better, but you just saw then at the end of that back straight at the sort of stop hairpin, the Fez certainly struggled a little bit and was getting pretty hairy near the end there. Although the tyres weren't shot, I think it was just overheated them a little bit as I was trying to hold Simon out.
Indeed, and just a little bit too much. Yes, Parry and Astakis love this track, just needed some lady luck. Unfortunately, had none of it from the outset. As far as you're concerned, hot lap, a drama for Matty Dench in that second race. 2 incidents, one of which we know he's been pinged 5 seconds for. It's always going to be a tough ask to reel him in and trump him in this game. He's still on track for 9 straight championships, but little victories like that, you've got to take them when you can get them.
I'll take a victory over Matty under any circumstances, Zach. But yeah, I think I've probably missed too many rounds potentially, but not sure that I'd be challenging him anyway. Even when you take the drop rounds out, he's had a good season as always.
Indeed he has. Indeed he has. Now, with regards to all of that, the next 2 rounds, will they be better suited to the Ferrari, Hockenheim and Spa, or have you got an uphill task ahead of you? That's part 1 of the question. And part 2, I mean, even when Denchi's behind you, you've still got to bloody contend with his teammate Simon Nicholson here in a cameo status. And I want to know your mindset when it comes to racing those blokes. Clearly, of course, Simon here had nothing to lose, didn't care about 12 incident points, and you, from a championship standpoint, you kind of knew who you were dealing with regards to Denchi and Richard and a couple of others, but it still didn't stop you from going toe-to-toe with him.
I think the Ferrari would be good at Spa. I probably need to have a couple of laps in the wet. I haven't tried it yet. I've been away. And as for Hockenheim, well, that's a great track. Not sure how the car will perform. And Simon, well, you know, either of those guys to race them's just a pleasure normally. So, you know, bring on the competition, make it as stiff as we can. It betters the club anyway, and I think it makes us all push. So, you know, we might have to draft Mr. Turner back for a couple of rounds and see if we can make it interesting.
Indeed, we will. And no doubt weather's going to make it interesting as well, John. We covered this off on Thursday night in great detail, but obviously with you must be a little bit disappointed that iRacing didn't bring the wet weather love to the McLaren, mate. I mean, it is one of your favourite staples in GT3 racing, and yet it's out the back door at the moment.
Yeah, mate, and it's certainly a great power down car too, off the slow speed stuff. So, I think it'd be good in the wet, but I'm sure that the older age of the car wouldn't provide, as did the Ford GT, wouldn't allow for them to sort of bring it into 2024 and wet weather. But I'm hoping there's some new models to come shortly.
Indeed. And obviously we've got Hockenheim next, then Spa. Spa for 90 minutes will be a challenge, particularly from a strategic standpoint. Hockenheim, as I said a few moments ago, it's one of those tracks that either gives us a belter of a race or an absolute snore, a stinker.
Yeah, depending on an incident, probably in that first lap, it can sort of break the field up, I think, around Hockenheim, but it is a cracker track too. So if that first sort of 6 to 10 people cars can stay together, it'll make for an interesting race. And 60 minutes should be. Oh, there's a nice moment in the Fez.
Yes, just a little one. How hairy was it from a grip standpoint tonight, John? Because there were a few people that went the wrong way. They got turned around.
Oh, mate, you can see that lap particularly. I was having incident after incident sort of for a few corners there. I think I just got the tyres too hot, Zach. But, yeah, and as I said, I probably didn't get sufficient time to work on a set. So, not excuses, but, mate, a good fun race nonetheless. Really love going side by side with Simon. That was enjoyable.
Indeed, we do. We absolutely love it. When the hot shots at the club put on a show like that, it was only half a lap long, or not even that really, but it was really good stuff. Exactly what we've come to appreciate, both on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club and in GT3 specifically. John, good luck Thursday night. I won't see you. I'm not here Thursday night or next Monday night, but looking forward to the business end of the campaign, mate. Go well.
No, appreciate it. Thank you, mate.
And there he is, John Merritt. Hey, a lot of love for the Porsches and Bimmers tonight, but still a couple of lone soldiers in Ferraris, Mercedes and Audis, keeping the manufacturer variety element of this championship, that aspect, well and truly alive. We're just about done. We might have some updated championship points for you very shortly, but in the meantime, let's remind everybody that we couldn't do what we do here without the support of the great team at Waste Options, the people at Sprayton Insiders, Player One Sim Gear, Lobesy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and also Flash Graphics. We're just about at the end of night one of week 8 of term 1, and just have a look at this again, ladies and gentlemen, a live action replay in real time of that magnificent scrap between John Merritt and Simon Nicholson. Nicholson hanging tough around the outside to put Merritt at bay, and at one point here you'll see it, John had no choice but to yield because Nico had his nose firmly up the inside. He did try for the switchback, but the job was well and truly done by that point, and Nico went on to get the job done and finish it off with the double victory tonight, and pole position went with it as well. Didn't worry about incident points, and I'm not sure who got the fastest lap, but that was really good stuff in the end. Championship points, Denty's still got this one by the scruff of the throat at the moment. 390 plays John Merritt's 326, 302 for Richard Mitchum, 278 for Jared Knight, 247 for Ash Collins, 210 for Chook Fung Wong, 209 for Jonathan Hooper, and Thomas Martin on 187 points. Paul Wood and Paul Rogers make up the top 10. Aidan Luthwaite, just outside after not being on the grid the last couple of weeks in 11th. Let's have a look at what's coming your way on the platforms of the GSRC. Across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube, we've had great fun tonight. We hope you have as well. It gets better tomorrow. Watkins Glen Classic Boot, Toyota 86 is up and comers, 3-race super sprint format, 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time, immediately followed by a trip to Monza, the Temple of Speed, the home of horsepower, for the Autodromo Nationale Monza round of the GT1 Civil War. 35 minutes on the agenda there, and looking forward to it immensely. Why am I getting notifications at this time of the night? No, don't worry about that. group threads on Facebook, fair income. You see the tag everyone pop up these days, and you wonder who's wasting your time now. GR86 Wednesday night, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park Motorsport, 2 sprint races there, 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. That'll be well worth the price of admission, don't get me wrong. And then equally well worth the price of admission off to Willow Springs International for 2 sprint races in the latest round of GT4. And that's coming your way 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Thursday night, Daniel Correa and to be confirmed with you for the Circuit de Lebanon round of Sprite Insider Formula V, 3 sprint races there. Then on to Circuit Park Zandvoort for 2 sprint races, an all-sprint format on a Thursday night with thanks to Sprite Insider in the 8th round of the Porsche Cup. Friday night, of course, we take you to Road Atlanta. Oh, geez, that'll be good. Open wheels around Road Atlanta. Yes, please. Super Formula 3 sprint races, 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Mountain Men Saturday night in the old school supercars, the old school supercars from Mount Panorama. 32 laps, 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time. The Sunday night series to be confirmed, but 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time is when the oval racing will get underway there. Next Monday night, I missed this, but I'll be tuning in if I can. We'll bring you the penultimate round of the Super 2, Super 3 series from Donington Park in the UK, 25 minutes from 7:50 Eastern Daylight Time. Remembering they start a 45-minute race the week after, not a 25-minute, and that'll impact our broadcast times and our start times. And I think it's a later start for GT3 Pro because of daylight saving. Is that right?
Daylight saving is the weekend after.
Sorry?
Daylight saving is the weekend after?
No. So daylight saving ends the 7th of April, Sunday the 7th of April. The last weekend of March, the last week of March, we'll still have daylight saving. Does that mean that we're going to have an earlier start, so a 7:30 start for Super 2, or a later start for GT3? Can you confirm?
So it'll be 7:30 start for Super 2 and 8:45.
Okay, so it'll be an earlier start for Super 2, not a later start for GT3. Copy that. Make a note of that, especially those of you in not so much the progressive and civilized states, because you'll already be well and truly home from work and fed by that point. But from WA, I'd suggest just knocking off at lunchtime, and maybe the same in Queensland as well, given the current state of traffic around here. Fair income. So that's for week 10. But week 9, of course, Donington Park for Super 2. GT3 AM is what we're going to bring you next Monday night from the Hockenheimring, a 60-minute race, 8:45 Eastern Daylight Time. GSRC.inc for all the club merch and paraphernalia. Sink your teeth into as much of that as you want to. And then, of course, merch.tgsrci.com takes you to the same site. Race.tgsrci.com takes you to the network that will bring you up to date with everything that we're about here, and info on how to join and calendars and all that information. So make sure you sink your teeth into that if you're thinking about joining in the fun here. And speaking of fun, this was good yesterday. Round 1's done for semester 1 of the 2024 GSRC Endurance Championship from Watkins Glen. The next stop, Suzuka in Japan. Same day as the Japanese Formula 1 Grand Prix. Not sure if they're going to therefore opt to start the race earlier so you can get off in time to go and watch Formula 1 or not. But that'll be up to Josh Zuno and his team. Suzuka, the venue, 7th of April. Looking forward to that one immensely. Laguna, Le Mans, Motorsport follow. Then Spa, Fuji, Mugello, Nordschleife, Red Bull Ring and Road America make up the second half of the campaign. As far as the Enduros are concerned, and I've just lost Adam Lavis's stream there, so I'm just flying off the cuff at the moment. As far as some of those venues are concerned, Mugello is a newbie that I know of. I can guarantee you it's a newbie for our GSRC GT3 Endurance Championship. I think Red Bull Ring and Laguna might be as well, but I'm not entirely sure on that. Looking forward to it nonetheless. Should be good fun, and Motorsport will be particularly interesting in those fast machines as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Monday night Motorsport on the platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, our second one of March. We've got 2 more where that came from to get us to the end of the road. It's been a magnificent season thus far. Tonight, no exception, full of carnage, full of interest, full of drama and controversy. But at the end of the day, wonderful wins for Simon Nicholson and Joe Baldwin at MotorLand Aragón. Also, of course, The supercars from Long Beach provided some great entertainment as well, but a fair hefty damage bill, no doubt about that. Hope you enjoyed it on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. On behalf of all the crew here, thank you. I'm Zach Caban on behalf of Adam Lavis and the team. We look forward to your company on Thursday, and I'll see you the following Thursday upon my return from Griffith. And if you are in southwestern New South Wales this weekend, do get yourself out to the Griffith Kart Club, the Riverina Cup meeting there to kick things off for a big event season as far as karting New South Wales is concerned. But first of the road trip to Cessnock and then the road trip to Griffith to get through for me. Have a great week, everybody. Plenty of great motorsport to sink your teeth into in the real world. Of course, if you haven't already, catch up with replays of IndyCar, NASCAR, Formula One and MotoGP on what was an enormous weekend of world motorsport. And of course, Formula One and the Australian Grand Prix is now just a week and a bit away. And of course, how good's it to have the footy back? The Aussies got a win in the cricket today. It's been good fun. We look forward to your company Thursday night. Daniel Correa, Sar and the crew to take you through straight inside of Thursday Night Motorsport. Until then, have a great evening, everybody. Bye for now.